Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly rogue trader, I guess, today. Because today we are carrying on. We're kicking off our new campaign on alternate Fridays, playing Fantasy Flight Games' outstanding Rogue Trader Warhammer 40,000 role-playing game. And if you were here 2 weeks ago when we created our characters, or if you're carrying through from the first one, we initially had planned to go directly into kind of to play a short little, kind of get our feet with this game session, and then launch into a three-part adventure. We're going to do a little bit of not reworking, but a little restructuring of that and take our time with this game. But this is our first proper session kicking off this as yet to be named Rogue Trader campaign. And let me introduce you to the stars of the Rogue Trader campaign, three of which you met 2 weeks ago, and one who's just joined us as well in on the outskirts of the Coronis Expanse. Why don't you tell us, guys, who you are and who are you playing? First up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Alessander, and he is the Void Master.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about Alessander, because this is Dave's first time meeting your character. Why don't you tell us a little bit about his background and such as well?
Yeah, where is that?
If you need a refresher, journal? It's under the Journal tab.
Yeah. So he was born on a death world, which just means it's like an extremely dangerous planet. He sort of got off there. He lived a bit of a life as a renegade. And he sort of learned that he could use his intelligence to survive in space much easier than he could use it to survive on his homeworld. So once he got off planet, he became he loves living in space, and so he applied his skills as a pilot and became invaluable to the ships. And then he met up with Quinelli, and that's how he's ended up here on this ship.
Nice. Next up is James.
I'm James, and I'm playing Regius Benetek, the ship's navigator. So, born on a noble world, his life has always been of hedonistic pleasure and influence and contacts at the highest level, and he's proud, arrogant, and hedonist, and is hungry for new experience, particularly Xenos knowledge. Nice. He deserves to know all.
Very nice. Next up is our resident armor smith, Dave.
Hey everybody, I am playing Godwin. He is your resident seneschal. He was born in Nobleborn, which I will have to read that up because I didn't do the character then. His birthright is Savant. Yep. And Lure of the Void is Duty Bound. Some interesting stuff here. I'm kind of intrigued though by the Dark Voyage in Trials and Travails.
Well, that's when we can perhaps we can fill that in when we talk about your ship. Because your ship has a somewhat ill-omened history.
I see a link between myself and the ship.
Nice. And last, but certainly not least, is I guess I can't call myself the Rogue Trader from the DM because you're playing a Rogue Trader. So I got back to the drawing board.
Yeah, get your own name, Kevin.
Game Servitor. How about that? That'll work for all of my 40K games.
Yeah.
All right. So then, last but certainly not least, is Sean.
Hey, I'm Sean. I'm playing Quinelli Aquade, and I am the Rogue Trader. I'm a young scion of my father, Ancilion Aquade, and getting kicked out of the nest. We are from a pleasure world that was easy to kick back on, and it is my time to carry on the family name and plant the flag somewhere, like make my father proud.
Nice. All right, I think what I'll do is I'll move our backup just so it's easier to see here, guys. I'll move those who are not here, I'll move out of the characters thing. So it's just you guys and your ship. So guys, tell us a bit about your ship. The Morbus Probati. Let's see if I can give you a bigger thing here. Well, if it's easier, I could tell you about your ship. If you like. One of the things that for those listening at home, we did do ship generation last time, and just my thought was it was easier to edit than it was to create from whole cloth. I put together the draft ship with what they had access to, and the guys have been good enough to just say, all right, we're going along with it. So the Morbus Probati, named by our stalwart heroes here, is a tradesman class, or no, vagabond class tradesman vessel. And it is, let's see here. Where are we here? There we go. It is 2 kilometers long, approximately 0.4 kilometers abeam. Has a crew of 18,000 roughly, and it is a common sight throughout the Calixis sector, which borders on the Coronis Expanse, and which Calixis sector, I believe, Sean, you have spent a fair amount of time in that sector with Dark Heresy. Vagabonds are small, multi-purpose merchant vessels able to transport a wide variety of cargoes and even passengers. Popular among poorer Chartist captains, these ships are unassuming but reliable and have been known to mount small broadsides for defense. One of the kind of built-in things with it is that the ship is designed for transporting goods, so it has what's called a main cargo hold component, which does draw a little bit of power, but it doesn't take up any space. And what that does is it grants you, when you undertake a trade objective, you earn an additional 125 achievement points towards completing that objective, because you've just got more space to haul more crap. We talked before we went live, like the way that the sort of metagame or meta-adventure structure is for this is that you guys undertake different endeavors, and the endeavors will, you make, once you reach a certain point of the achievement points that you need to succeed in that endeavor, anything in excess of that just translates directly into profit. So the more achievement points you earn, the better. And if you happen to fail or miss out on certain other things that might need to get done to achieve that endeavor, that's one way of bridging the gap. The only other significant thing on the ship, there's some other small features that we can look up or talk about when it comes up, is the whatever it's called, the web thing, Warp's Bane hull, which grant a +10 bonus to navigation tests for our resident navigator, and allow the navigator, when there are random encounters, to roll twice, and the navigator selects which of the two that comes. The other thing is let me read from the quirks table for you so you know. So, where is it here? Here we go. So the Marine Spirit oddity is wrathful. The ship's spirit constantly smolders with anger. In battle, it explodes into a berserker fury, straining and exhausting its systems. During combat, the ship gains +1 speed and +7 maneuverability. Out of combat, though, the ship suffers -1 speed, -5 maneuverability, and -5 detection. And the past history of your ship is that it was wrested from a space hulk. The ship has been recovered from a space hulk, a mass of wrecked ships that drifts intermittently through the warp and real space. The ship is very old and thus of high quality, and those who know of its origin whisper that it is cursed. You guys already have factored this in, but you've already gained +1 armor, +1 speed, and +3 to maneuverability. However, every time the crew suffers a misfortune, I roll twice and take the worse of the two. The curse can have many other effects as well, many ill, but a truly skilled rogue trader can turn any situation into profit. And a horror-inclined game servitor can turn any excuse into a way to inject further horror into a game. So I'll just say that this weekend I'm looking forward to getting a rewatch of Event Horizon in to... All right, so then, guys, where our session starts, you guys have are starting with your full amount of fate points. Our session starts with you arriving on the cusp. Let's maybe take a moment here and let's look at a couple of things. Let's take a look at the Coronis Expanse itself. So the Coronis Expanse is so named because it's only been a couple of 100 years that has actually been accessible. This map that you see before you covers the Expanse itself in kind of an abstracted way. But the thing I'll point you out to is right down here. Am I on the right layer? I am. Right around here, there's a place called Port Wander. And then you see there's a little bit of a passageway through these two kind of white-looking things on either side. Those are two roiling warp storms that have that basically overlap with one another. The one to the bottom of the page is Void Dancer's Roll. Void Dancer's Royal. And the one to the north is the Screaming Vortex. Like a lot of warp storms, these things, for any rational rogue trader or captain, you would never navigate between them. But there was a mad navigator who several hundred years ago found a gap of getting through here. Now, and that is called the Maw. And if you travel the Maw, which is sort of a rite of passage, as it were, for many rogue traders seeking to reach the Coronis Expanse, then you gain access to all the secrets and riches and whatnot that can be found in here, because this has been sealed off for Lord knows how long. That's not to say it's an easy thing to do, but it is a way to go somewhere that no one in our captain or rogue trader, it's Aquare? That's how you're saying?
Aquade.
Aquade. All right.
There's more riches involved. Aquade.
Savor those vowels. So Aquare, to distinguish himself from his heritage, or perhaps it's a matter of recapturing, because I do have a bit of a secret for you, Captain Aquare. Your grandfather was one of the first rogue traders if not him, his fleet to navigate the Coronis Expanse. Ooh. You have a fresh warrant of trade in your possession. You have a ship, and you are all traveling to Port Wander. I believe this is the first time that any of you have been here. This is all vast, unknown, and unexplored areas. Does anyone have any lore skills relating to the Coronis Expanse?
Let's see here.
Only if there was a war there.
Yeah, me too.
Thousands of years ago, likely, but not as of yet. So we're traveling. What the Coronis Expanse borders on is the Calixis sector, and that's where you're traveling from. And you are heading to Port Wander. Port Wander, you've heard, is the place that all travelers bound for the Coronis Expanse stop off. Let me show you, though. Let's start ourselves on the bridge. And let me grab your characters here. And the reason I want to start on the bridge is in part to give you guys an opportunity to get comfortable role-playing your characters, and also to show you just how different this bridge is from many other sci-fi games that we may, or any kinds of sci-fi fiction that we may be familiar with. we've talked about this during character generation, but one of the ways where your characters in this differ from the types of characters we play in other RPGs is that Captain Aquare, I'm going to do that head shake every time I say his name, too. Captain Aquare is the master of 18,000 souls. What you will be having to do as you're exploring the expanse is as you lose crew members or as they become ill or die or whatnot, you will have to replace them. And yeah, so you are approaching, you are traveling through the warp. You will be transitioning back into real space shortly. But you can picture yourself standing before these massive screens. And Captain Aquare, you are on the bridge. And what do you think you are doing? Do you have something displayed on the screen? Are you up on your massive throne up there looking down at the crew members and the servitors who are working on elsewhere on the bridge?
Yeah, I think I'm probably lost in the moment. I'm probably up there stroking the arms of the chair, thinking of my grandfather that I'm imagining, whether he was on this ship or not, probably not. But, I'm imagining him standing where I am. I'm doing the whole scion of the family, my father and his father before him. And I'm doing this. I got a big story going on up there, and I'm, overseeing it's.
Do you think you may have access to his journals?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That could have even been what Father might have even, it's one of those things like, what do you get a son, or what do you get each other? I mean, that's even true in real life. What do you get like in the Rogue Trader family of people that kind of have everything? Like, you live in a pleasure world. What do you Yeah. So it's usual. Oh, cool, another whatever.
Awesome, another designer drug. Thank you.
Right, exactly. But but instead this time, Father did okay with that. But this time I open it up and I'm like, what is this? And it's grandfather's old journals, and I know something's up. I open that, and I'm also aware I'm not 10 years old, so I'm of the age, and these journals are in this exquisite box, with this crazy lock on it and the whole 9 yards, and my father's just staring a hole right through me, and I look at him, and I just know that I know that I'm leaving, that he's basically, this is it, kid, but the journals are pretty cool, but they mean a lot because they mean off you go. Yeah. And so, yeah. Okay. So perhaps there's a section of, maybe it's a section of your grandfather's journal, which would have been from about a century ago, because humans of means live longer in this, Space Marines even longer. So you perhaps, are reviewing the Vox, recording of his journal of the approach to the Expanse itself. Yeah. Looking through it and I can see Father probably sees me pausing on it, and he says, don't worry, Regis will be going with you, kind of laughs. Yeah. And, is it Regis, James? Regis?
Regius, yes.
Regius, okay. Okay. So perhaps that's an opportunity for Regius to enter the scene. Now, you will be transitioning from the warp into real space presently. And as you're getting closer, Regius, I think you can, as you're approaching where Quinelli is sort of lost in, in thought, you can feel it's almost like having your body too close to like perhaps a combination of campfire and power line. The roiling warp storms, even though they're relatively far off, you can even feel their presence here. It tells you you're getting very close. You can't imagine what the feeling is going to be like when you're passing through the Maw. So how does Regius enter the scene then? You're walking up. Quinelli seems to be listening to his grandfather's Vox recordings once again, as there's sort of a murmuring down on the crew.
So he will clump his way in his dark robes as you a somewhat cold, arrogant look on his face, thinking, and go up to Quinilly and let's go. Trader, are we ready for our voyage yet? I am hungry to be out to find new experiences. I find it tedious here now.
Indeed. Bugeus. I can't wait. Our destiny awaits us.
Alessander, we'll have you maybe walk past at this point. Regius has let you know that you'll be transitioning from the warp back into regular space. So if you're approaching, in the event there's any difficulty with that or any problems, they want to have the Void Master behind, the Void Master who is in charge of effectively flying the ship,
right,
in position.
I think he's quite a busy person when he's here, so he's probably gone to check a few things, and then he would come up to his sort of spot.
Okay.
Sir?
So
we're ready to land, and
indeed, all is well with the Mortis Probati, Alessandra?
Yes, as well as she runs, sir, as well as she runs.
There's almost a moan as sort of the ship adjusts. The Gellerfield shifts just ever so slightly with the ripple cast off by one of the two warp storms. And then Godwin, perhaps you're coming in as well too, knowing that you'll be arriving soon. Godwin, I don't think you've been to Port Wander before either.
No, I have not. But I know some people who have perhaps traveled this way.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps not directly, but through acquaintances and such.
Yeah, and I think, why don't we do this? Let's get some dice rolling here. Godwin, why don't you give us a, let's see here.
I think Godwin is still looking down at his tablet, and he's reviewing some essential numbers, just in case the rogue trader quizzes him on
one
anything.
Of the things you'll need to to fill up on. Port Wanderer is the last sort of massive supply post. You do know. Let's see here. Here's what you would have learned already about it. It says here you are all doomed.
Doomed?
That might be a glitch on the ship's data slate. Hold on. What you are. Here we go.
Perilously doomed.
Perilously doomed indeed. All right, so what you've heard about Port Wander is that this is.
Was I rolling?
You actually don't need a roll. I'm assuming you've picked up the stuff. There's full repair yards here. There is. Port Wander was founded by the Imperial Navy a little more than 100 years ago as a staging ground to investigate the loss of many vessels on the fringes of the Drusus Marches. With the discovery of the Coronis Passage in the late 40th millennium, the station grew in importance owing to its close proximity to the passage, the Maw. Its original role as a base for military operations was slowly forgotten, and Port Wander became a way station for those daring passage into the Coronis Expanse. Merchants and mercenaries began to choke the once deserted corridors of the station, and strangers shook the dust of distant stars from their boots while trading wondrous things from beyond the great warp storms. So this is sort of the great... you can picture, the opening scene in Rogue One where we meet Cassian the first time, and there's that massive, multi-layered kind of, what do you call it? Like entrepot or trading kind of place. lots of tight corridors, people making use of all available space. That's what you can expect from here. A place that was not designed to become kind of a mecca, but has become one by virtue of fortune. You also know, so you've maybe, Godwin, been preparing to, for who you need to follow up with. You guys do have a full crew. What we do in this game to manage the crew and the morale is we have them as a score of 10, or a score of 100. You start the game with them at 100, and then over the course of the game, things will decrease. And then you will be able to restock when you go back in. It's like the acquisition points with the Endeavor. It's an abstracted way, but right now you guys are freshly crewed. You have no issues with the morale of the crew. You are ready to go. It's just provisions and then off into the mall. So, with that, is there anything you guys wish to say before you before you transition from warp back into real space?
I think Godwin kind of is not listening to the ship, more feeling for what the ship, what kind of state it is, what kind of, he just thinks, he might not actually have a connection to the ship, but he's been on it long enough that he figures that he can read her mind.
Well, one of your and one of your back story things, like part of your life path, I've assumed, and if you want it to be from someone else, that's fine. But I assume that your dark voyage thing, that's some unnatural experience that you had with this ship.
Yes.
So,
transitions are dangerous.
Then, guys, we drop into real space. You, with an exercise of your navigator's powers, I just put your tokens right in front of the fucking thing. Hold on. There we go. Kev, you dummy.
Here's a beautiful picture. Let's cover it up with some ugly
Exactly, yeah. Madison, come on, man. So this is where you appear. And that, drifting off in the distance there, that is Port Wander. So the ship is now once again under your control, Alessander. Regis, you've exercised your. What do you think it is like for a navigator to trigger the the warp engine to have you cross from warp space into real space?
Yeah, so it turns out it's called Regius, but I've checked my Latin pronunciation. But I think for him, the feeling is of like
in fairness,
ice cold shower. Of,
this is the 41st millennium, so you have about 38 millennia worth of excuses to have it mispronounced. If you're Latin is off.
I'm going for the hard G. Regius. Okay. I don't want to sound too much like Reg either. Hello, Reg.
That wasn't the accent you were going to. All right, Reg. Down in the pub tonight.
Nice pint of bitter. So he comes up. Yeah, it's like a cold ice going over him as we exit the warp, and he turns to says, "Trader, it's good to be out of the warp. Being so close to the warp storms is hard work."
Mm-hmm. There's perhaps even just a slight. You can't see it, but you feel like there's tingling on your skin still. From the proximity to this, what it's going to be like to pass through the warp is going to be, or the maw is going to be definitely an experience. So, as you guys are approaching, this is the first impression you get of it from once you enter the system. The system of here, actually, to be honest, is not all that important. What is the most importance is. Port Wander itself, and allow me to show you as you get closer. This is what you see. It is huge. Like your ships, as I said, your ship is 2 kilometers long, but you can judge from here. Look how small the other vessels look in comparison to Port Wander. And it has that very distinctive Gothic style that Imperial structures favor. there is regular use of the Aquila, the Imperial Eagle, as well as you guys are approaching. Once you get within a certain range of Port Wander as well, you begin receiving what you expect is every time you arrive in one of these stations, there is a flurry of messages that are transmitted from locals, from the station itself, from other people, from interested parties who may have known that you were coming or may have noticed your arrival and determined who the captain is of the, what is it? Sorry, the Mortis...
Probati.
Mortis Probati. Okay, I'm going to write that down so I don't have to keep looking back.
You have to shake your head when you say that too. It's a
Basically, it's being a Muppet now.
Yeah.
All right. So the when you do, I can hear there are a number of envoys and formal envoys and salutations from both the Imperial Authority and rogue traders who are welcoming your dynasty to port and honoring your rites of passage. This is the kind of reception that you've grown used to, and is no less than what you would expect as having a warrant of trade and coming from such a distinguished dynasty. However, one Vox message stands out and demands your attention, Akari. I'm going to transition off to something. Let's see, is this what I want? No. How about this?
Something a little more Event Horizon, a little less Harry Potter.
Yeah. We had that. Oh, if you want that, here we go.
Really for Event Horizon? No, it's not.
Okay. Well, it's not quite that sinister up with this one. What's this one? No, it's too exciting. This? Normally I label these things so I don't do this. I should say normally I do exactly what I'm doing. Sometimes I label them for what scenes I want them in, but how about this?
Damning message.
There we go. All right. So what you receive is a Vox message that demands your attention. And the reason is that it is recorded in the Aquares dynasty's cipher. It is specifically in a cipher that only your family uses and your dynasty uses to communicate with one another. You were not aware that your dynasty had any agents here. Nevertheless, there is a cipher, and it is from, Vox, and it is from someone in that cipher who calls himself Orbest Dre. And at this distance, you will be able to have Vox communication with them if you'd like. It's transmitted, unfortunately, because 40K tech is about, again, this is another one of those like 80s sci-fi games where we peaked out at about what you could do in the 80s, then also laser guns. So, Aquare, what do you make of that?
So you said, is it? Are you inferring it's from another ship?
It's coming from Port Wander.
But it's a recording. Now, is it hailing me or a recording?
It's a Vox directly to you, a recorded message.
I see. I will.
And again, it's in your dynasty's cipher. It is something only your dynasty would be able to translate.
I will take it in my captain's room.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
Sure. So you take it in the captain's room. Right. What are you crying for? You take it in there, and what it says is, it again is from a man named Orbest Dre. The name means nothing to you. He says that he's been waiting a long time for a member of of your family's line to return. And he carries a message and a gift from your great-grandfather. He would meet with you as soon as you've docked, if you would. And he would meet with you in the Court of the Dead, which is the Port Wanderer's vast market. So you were aware that your grandfather... sorry, I guess it's your I misspoke. It's your great-grandfather who went through here, not your grandfather. But let me just, so you can plan accordingly. This is sort of what to expect. You will need to zoom in a scooch to see it. And also the, game servitor needs to not put your tokens over the map. There we go. But if you zoom in, you can see that is a map of Port Wander. And where you'd be looking for the Court of the Dead is right here. Huge, sprawling, like you can see in the illustration, sook, almost, of massive collection of humanity and traders and whatnot.
I come out of my room. Who do I... so everyone's in the control room, right? I mean, us.
On the bridge?
Artie in the bridge?
Yep.
Yep. Let's see. I'll say I come upon Godwin first, and I say, Godwin, my destiny has found me, which is to say us. We are off to the... What's the shopping area called, Kevin?
The Court of the Dead.
We're off to the Court of the Dead. No surprise.
Why is this, sir?
It turns out...
my liege. I think I'll call you my liege.
It turns out my family has associates everywhere. This one says he has a gift from my great-grandfather. We'll see.
Just happened to know your arrival time and send a message?
My family is well known, but your suspicions are well noted.
It's also, it would have been known, like there would have been effectively like a flight log, to when a rogue trader arrives, there are certain things that you are an agent of the Emperor. The ward of trade that you bear, it comes from the Emperor. So it is not a matter of, you're not just some pilot who comes by. You are someone who is on a commissioned task for the Emperor
Yes.
of mankind. So
Godwin's still going to cast suspicion on it with whatever comment he thinks is...
Oh, certainly. Yeah, the only reason I mentioned is that, like, when you guys, you can think you're not quite like nobility in the same way that your character's family is nobility, but you certainly are owed a great deal of respect. You have, like, your ship. Your ship may seem, paltry in comparison to, like, say, battle fleets or other sort of like battleships or whatnot. But I mean, you have enough firepower on here to take out, moderate-sized colonies. You have enough wealth, even as a fledgling trader, to bankrupt small colonies, to bankrupt small moons, to purchase them outright.
And how long would we have flown together so far, do you think?
How long do you think?
I think Godwin perhaps has been here longer. Perhaps served with your father briefly. And then, his father passed on to the mantle, and I decided to stay on and see what the young pup can
So I think
do.
this, perhaps the... because this is a very small vessel, so unless his family has fallen on hard times, which they could have, it's unlikely that he'd be using this vessel to make his fortune. Rogue traders can, especially if they are successful, have whole fleets of ships that they make use of. But to not get to jettison what you said, perhaps you did serve with his father before, and then when Quinelli was commissioned with this vessel, that you went on board with it, and then you had that weird experience, or whatever weird experience there was. How's that sound, Dave?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
And Sean, how does that sound?
Yeah. I mean, and I think I was suspecting that perhaps my father gave me this modest vessel because, he did not want me to skate on his robes. I needed to come up the ranks and earn my way, but he also wanted me to have veterans at my side because he knows it's risky and I'm an inexperienced. So he wanted steady hands, on the bridge.
And you also have. Go ahead, James. Sorry about that.
No, sorry. I would say that I also had the Dark Void. So I'll say that I was with Godwin, and with having a navigator assigned, it's normally under heavy contract and highly expensive. So I was particularly as from the Benetech clan. So I would assume that also I've been assigned by Aquari's father, along with Godwin, as part of.
Might I make a suggestion?
Oh yeah, go
for this. So, because if it's going to incorporate the two of you guys, perhaps it was an inadvertent. I know, that navigators are not necessarily, they're not directly comparable to psychers, but perhaps there was some kind of inadvertent telepathic thing that bridged the two of you at some point. Perhaps in connection with this frickin' vessel, this cursed vessel. And I think that ever since that incident, you both have dreamed of some strange... you dream as if you are... almost like you are traveling through the roiling storms that encircle the Cronus Expanse. And to the point where you had that vision, but your dreams are now that you find yourself drifting almost in those things, and you can feel that there is something looming above you, but you have yet to actually spot what it is that looms above you.
Okay.
When do you think that you both saw that in person? Like there was some kind of mishap with the warp, and you had this brief connection between the two of you, or was it just...
could have been even a simultaneous connection with the wrath of the ship.
Oh, the machine spirit. Yeah,
because I think maybe with the machine spirit makes sense, right?
Yeah.
With its peevish nature.
And so it's not because I think Godwin, because he doesn't have any sort of psychic abilities.
Yeah.
It's just this strange feeling that he's connected to the ship somehow, even though it's probably past him. There's no lingering effects.
Could it be that we have the feeling of the old crew?
I think you have a feeling of...
flashbacks of that.
Yeah, perhaps that, and also to fit with the machine spirit connection, I think that it's not that you feel like you're, you are relaxing in this, drifting in this warp storm or whatever else, and something is out there. I think it's closer to like a Wrath of Khan type situation where you are hunting and something is hunting you. This ship is designed for that. It is, not even designed, it is born for that. Whatever spirit that has emerged from this thing, the machine spirit, that is its feeling. And now you can feel as if you are part of that connection, that this is, the ship itself is a predator. And it seems as if you are dreaming of prey somehow. That fit?
Yep.
And you know what? You're both, since I think all three... Did you all three have noble birth?
I'm noble.
Yeah, so all of you guys could all know each other from way back when then, too. You could all have come from the same, the same planet or whatnot.
Well, also... Quinella and I had the same hedonistic interests, so we visited the same dens and in our younger days.
Okay. So with that talked over, how does that inform how you'd respond to this, Godwin? I mean, you were aware that the great grandfather had passed through here. You were not aware that he had left anything behind.
Yeah, I think Godwin still everything stinks of suspicion until he's cleared out that it's not. So he'll just convenient, far too convenient. In my mind, it bears investigation. Shall I send some men? Don't need to answer.
I was gonna joke that we, in outside of RPG terms, we'd send in 1,000 armsmen to check it out. But instead,
the thing is,
we'll go ourselves.
Here's why you wouldn't, is because this is neutral ground. And if you showed up and started sending out 1,000 armsmen,
Gotcha.
not only would the other rogue traders have word with you, the Adeptus Arbites are also a presence on here. And yes, you have a warrant of trade. It's not allow you to just occupy, the region. And there are much bigger ships with much bigger crews. So
I was thinking something far more subtle. Those who aren't noticed.
Indeed. Well,
Let me take care of it, sir.
yeah, one thing we sort of need to sort of just hand wave in this is assume you guys are going on whatever endeavor you're doing. We don't need to come up with explanations for why it's a game. It's not a, we're not writing a script or anything like that. So we can assume that you guys will go along. If you want to come up with justification for it, that's fine. But absolutely do not need to feel like you need to come up with that. There'll be situations just like in other RPGs where like someone might be in some part of a city and someone might be in another part, but like you don't need to bring bodyguards with you all the time. Not because you couldn't have access to it, but bringing bodyguards speaks more to weakness than it does strength. It says that you cannot handle yourself in those circumstances, and you need to hide behind people.
Oh, I wasn't thinking bodyguards. Godwin is a seneschal. He's also a spy master. He's got underworld connections, and he'll have more information in the first 2 hours before you even disembark your ship.
Okay. So then, as you guys arrive, what is the plan here then? You can assume that there are, like the resupplying and whatnot is happening in the background for this. Your plan was to otherwise just travel through the Maw and then, come up with your first sort of either explore, find trade, find opportunities, or whatever. There is an imperial presence in and human presence as well, which are not necessarily always overlapping in the Chronos Express. So it's not like you're going into completely unknown territory, but some of it is also a matter of going around. There's tons of of lost worlds and Xenos cultures and all sorts of crazy stuff to explore out there. But for here, what's the plan?
let's disembark. See what today brings. You can't spend all your time in space, Alessander. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think he's always excited to be invited. He sees the three of them as sort of like, friends. They've all known each other. They're all nobles. So whenever I'm, invited along, I'm eager to go.
Okay. So you guys collect your wares. The place, I'm not sure if I had loaded. I don't think I bothered to, but there's a great illustration from the wiki of what docking is like on here, like just how big the ship's coming into docking, and it's basically like it is imagine a incredibly elaborate, and three-dimensional, or like sprawling in 3 dimensions Gothic cathedral. That's sort of what the docking station looks like, very much like what the ships do. And we see the Mortis Probati dock, and you guys disembark. Tell me what is sort of the approach here. I'm assuming you've responded to Bray's, Dre's Vox.
Yeah, and I'm still. I guess I had the ability to do that. I guess that's how it works. Yep. I can reply. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way I understand is that, like, and you could potentially get in touch with him here, but the way the Voxes seem to be presented is that, like, you're limited to sort of like surface to orbit communication, and that's kind of it. and it's audio, not necessarily visual. And then otherwise it's sending out like bursts of speed. That's why they've, the astropaths are so useful, is because that's how you really achieve long distance communication. You do have Oh, go ahead.
I will reply and say does it, did the message give us a specific location in the...
It did not. He said he just wanted to meet with you. If you do intend to meet with you, he will reply with like coordinates to meet up with in the Court of the Dead.
I said, we have arrived. We will meet. Tell me where.
Okay. He replies that he is extremely, again, in the same cipher as you received before, extremely pleased to be in service to the Aquare dynasty once again. And he gives you a location in the Court of the Dead. It's sort of like, kind of like map coordinates in it, because it changes. The Court of the Dead changes so often with the different traders and stalls and whatnot that are in there. So after you arrive, is there anything anyone has planned or would like to do while you are on Port Wander, apart from meeting with this fellow? Just so we know we can put it on your to-do list.
I think I will try to make some contacts.
Okay.
Local contacts that... Just expanding my network.
Okay.
Are there any family people that I should pay my respects to? No?
You thought that you didn't think there was anyone else. There may be some other rogue traders. Like there's a variety of them have greeted you as you arrive, as your vessel would as other rogue traders arrive. So you may want to press flush with some of those folks, people who have more experience in the Cronus Expanse. But I think you said that you sort of you're not necessarily openly embracing every other rogue trader, because those who are unscrupulous or whatnot, you do not have time for them, I believe.
I think my father was fairly gregarious, as a man of his station somewhat requires. So I think I feel the obligation, and don't mind it, that I need to say hello and be seen and get to be a familiar sight in as much as that's possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else have anything they wish to do? Nada?
No.
Okay.
Not that I can think of.
Save us some money on fuel and pocket the difference? No, just kidding.
Yeah, I'll pump it myself. I mean, it's a 2-kilometer long ship, so it's going to take me a while, but still, I can do it. When you arrive, what you find is a market that is crowded and filled with the stench of humanity. This is... perhaps, you were expecting a big and vibrant market, especially for a place on the cusp of, the unknown. I think you're still, even in light of that, still kind of surprised by the sprawl and the noise, for that matter. It's a place that feels both very big and very small all at once, if that makes sense. When you first enter here, it's loud, the ceilings are tall, things spread out, but it's so cramped that it feels like you're in a small area, kind of while you're there. And the people are just fucking coming and going. So you're, definitely there's a lot to take in. Reggie, there is most assuredly, not openly displayed, but there is definitely some stuff that is hidden around all over that is certainly of Xenos origin. And unlike anything that you have seen thus far, if this is even a small sample of what to experience beyond the Maw, it may very well make that torture of going through that passage worth what is awaiting you on the far side. Okay. And it's when you get to the region, you find someone has already been eagerly sort of keeping their eye out for you. And a man comes over to you who looks like this. He is old. He definitely looks like perhaps his better days, or at least more lucrative days, are behind him. But he still carries himself, in spite of his the tattered nature of his clothing and the shabbiness of his overall presentation. He carries himself with as much dignity as his old years can allow. He walks over and bows and says, "Captain Aquare, it is a great honor to meet one of your dynasty once again."
Did his message indicate rank, or his uniform?
He is. He is formerly a servant of a rogue trader. He's not a captain.
Orbest Dre, it was a pleasure to receive your message. I did not expect anyone to greet me.
When he comes up, he produces a dynasty seal, and he recites the oaths of service, marking him as a member of the Aquare family. And he says them in, I think the formal speech he says it in feels kind of, like it's what you've heard from your grandfather, perhaps, or your great-grandfather, perhaps. He says them impeccably and in that formal way that long life of service to a conservative organization might engender.
How is it I've never heard of you, Orbest?
This is very far from where your interests otherwise would come. I cannot tell you how pleased I was when I heard that the Aquare were once again taking an interest in the Coronis expanse.
Take an interest indeed. I will not be staying long here at this port, but long enough.
No. And he sort of gestures. There's a little it's not stall, but there's a stand that's been set up where there is kind of like a coffee bar type thing. You can picture there's someone who's making fresh pressed coffee or something similar, in this small, tiny little super strong, more like Turkish coffee. And he says, "If we might, because I will not keep much of your time, but I believe there is something that you need to be aware of." And he moves over and he says, "Did you know that I was a member of the crew of a ship belonging to your great-grandfather?"
I did not.
Yes. "As a youth, I served aboard the Emperor's Testament, a vessel that belonged to Vos Carlorn, a part of your great-grandfather's fleet." And do you follow him over to the little table, guys, or it's one of those things that you stand at?
I do, with a little glance at Godwin for his, to, let's see how to put it, to satisfy his suspicions, sort of like I'm going over there, kind of a,
okay.
Godwin's casually looking around at everybody.
Okay. Alessander, Regius?
I'm kind of, a little bit paranoid, so I'm probably keeping a lookout for, if I see anything or any threat to the crew here down in this market.
Okay. And Regius?
I'll just be observing closely this Dre person.
Okay.
Try and see how I can judge him.
Okay.
Measure him up.
So what he once he collects the drinks, and he brings for yourself, for Godwin, for Regius, and for Alessander, and then returns to you, Quinelli. He says, "Yes, I was a deck officer aboard the Emperor's Testament, a vessel of Vos Carlorn. During one terrible expedition, we were caught in a violent warp storm and blown well off course. And after we came to rest in a strange and uncharted system that the ship's astropath heard, a faint message, a cry for salvation from a lost Imperial vessel. At first, Captain Carlorn believed it was from the rest of the fleet, but they quickly realized that it was an old message, an echo in the warp, the astropath called it. Hundreds, if not thousands of years old. And when it was examined, it was discovered just what we had stumbled upon. This was an astropathic marker from the fabled treasure ship, the Righteous Path. And he says that in a way that he expects you to know that. If you have scholastic lore legend, or if you have common lore Coronis Expanse, go ahead and give us a check with either of those.
Nope.
Nope.
I think those are probably trained only, right? Let's see. Where's
No.
So it's either scholastic lore legends, and let's see, that's an advanced skill, or common lore, Coronis Expanse. Let's see if that is likewise.
I'm young. I know nothing.
Yeah. That you may. Okay, so, and common lore is advanced as well. So if you guys do not have that, so he looks at you, and then you see he tries to hide it, but he's old, so he's not, subtlety is not his strength. You have not heard of the Righteous Path?
I am young. That's what I have you here for, Dre.
Oh, Shakes, youth is no excuse for lack of study, Master. But let me tell you, it is a local legend. Give me a sec here. It is... He settles in. The story of the Righteous Path begins over 2,500 years ago, during the time of Drusus and the Great Angevin Crusade. The stalwart forces of the Imperium were sweeping across the region of space that would become known as the Calixis Sector, pushing the enemies of the God Emperor before them and bringing light to the world lost for centuries to darkness. Among their number was Lorcanis Rin, a great warlord and free captain filled with bloodlust and greed, but also an unwavering faith in Drusus and the Emperor. At the helm of his grand cruiser, the Righteous Path, he was the scourge of 100 worlds, carving out a bloody path before him as the Crusade conquered world after world. One such world was Crystallion, recorded as the 73rd world brought to the light of the Emperor by the Crusade. It was, so the story goes, an ancient colony of man which had long ago fallen to the heretical worship of false gods and the teachings of treacherous prophets known as the Talisar. Covered in glittering cloud temples raised by the Talisar to the glory of the myriad faces, it was a world of immense wealth and blasphemous grandeur. It was, however, no match for the might of the imperial armies led by Lorcanis Rin. The warlord descended on Crystallion, filled with the righteous wrath of the Emperor, sweeping away 1,000 years of civilization in 3 days of fire and blood. When the killing was done and the corpse counters began gathering up the detritus of war, Lorcanis Rin marveled at the riches he had won. Never before had he seen such naked wealth, temples packed high with artifacts of rare and wondrous make, statues gilt with gems and glittering with gold, and shadowed vaults of forgotten and forbidden arcanotech. Here, the story varies from teller to teller. Some say wealth of Crystallion was more than rare metals and precious stones, but that its people were also a prize, bred from a stock of pure genetic material and spared from centuries of warp taint. They were bundled into stasis coffins and taken away to be trained as elite warriors or highborn servants. Others whisper that Crystallion was settled during the dark age of technology and still harbored devices from that time within its cities and temples, secrets worth more than the raw material wealth or combined populations of 100 worlds. Whatever the form of Crystallion's wealth, Lord Canis was not content merely to sample it, nor did he trust his fellow crusaders to carry it away. So he set about filling the righteous path from stern to ram. He tore out gun decks and launch bays, marooned thousands of his crew, and stripped away the vessel's innards until she was bursting with plunder. The warlord then vanished into the warp and from the pages of history. Over the centuries, there have been many expeditions to find the righteous path. At the time of its disappearance, members of the crusade quested after the lost vessel. Later, free traders, adventurers, and imperial servants have all tried to find its resting place. Many believe the vessel is lost forever, sunken beneath the tides of the warp or smashed to pieces and scattered across space and time. Crystallion, however, was rumored to have once existed on the trailing edge of what is now the Calixus sector, only a short span of light years from the Maw. This has led some old voidfarers to speculate that Lord Canis Rin and his ship were caught in the tides of the swarms that plague the Coronis Passage and dragged out deep into the expanse. Many believed it to be lost forever. But I lose myself in my tale. What your grandfather's servant, Carlorn, as a member of the dynasty, chose not to pursue this treasure ship then and there, and so returned here to Port Wander. Months passed, and there was no sign of your great-grandfather, so Carlorn vowed to return to the Expanse and find him. But not willing to risk the map in the Expanse, Carlorn entrusted it to me before he departed, to keep safe until he returned with your great-grandfather. Carlorn never returned. Since that time, over 100 years ago, I have been waiting for one of the Aquare dynasty to return so that I can pass on his message and the map that was entrusted to me so long ago. He then reaches inside his jacket and he pulls out a small sealed stasis chamber. The casket, you can tell with such a thing, is often gene-locked, and it bears the mark of the Aquare dynasty. But as he brings it even remotely within arm's length of you, the seal makes a small tone and changes in color slightly, and you hear the sound of it unclasping. If you make any indication of reacting whatsoever, Quinelli, Dre looks up at you and says, it recognizes its master. And he gingerly passes it to you, and you can see it's starting to open up. And within, there is a smooth black rock. Now, let me take a look at your sheet and see if you've got anything that might assist you. Regius, I think you're going to be able to help here. Regius, forgive me. My 41st century Latin is just fucking awful.
You're high Gothic?
Yeah.
Yep.
Would you give us a Psynescience check there, Regius? And that'll be just a... hold on. I think this will be an easy task. Oh, where's my DM screen? I got my DM screen. We're justifying a purchase here, guys. Hold on. There we go. Easy is going to be plus 30. 30.
Okay, cool.
How we do? Oop.
Oh, well
Whoa!
done, Regius.
Minus 1.9 degrees of failure. All right, fortunately, you do have... Let's see here. What does Quinelli have? Would you... No one here, sorry. Oh, does this... Hold on. Does this pass the Muser test here? Let's see. Does this game have a list of skills on the DM screen? It does not.
Trouble.
Skill-based games. Put your fucking skill list on your DM screen.
Yeah.
So we don't have to have a copy of the character sheet sitting in front of us. Let's see. What are your lores that you're trained in? Let's see. Because what I could do is make it more difficult for you. Astromancy. Yeah, why don't you give us an astromancy check? This one will be at a... let's see here. I think we'll put this at ordinary. At plus 10. Yeah, plus 10. Ordinary plus 10.
All right. Let's see.
And as a reminder,
So-
you can spend fate points to gain plus 10 to your roll before you roll. If you fail, you can spend a fate point to... I think you can spend one to re-roll. Serious fate point spends on here. Oh, you're breaking my heart, DM screen. Come on here. Japers. Let's see here. There we go. Yes, you can also spend it to re-roll. So, would you give us that check? If you do want to spend any fate points, let us know. Otherwise...
All right.
your fate points are your blue bar, incidentally. You guys have guessed that already, but...
And those spent ones come back every session, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see here. Sure.
Okay.
Get it started.
There we go. So then it'll be a plus 20, then I guess, if you're spending a fate point.
Okay.
Okay. And again, you can adjust your blue bar. It'll adjust it. Look at that. So what you see, you would recognize this then, Quinelli, because it's something that is, sometimes is a way for astropaths to save information on there. This is an astropathic nemolith, which contains a transmission. That transmission that they talk about, like, you don't need to take the word of astropaths necessarily. Astropaths can transfer or copy their information they gained or communications they gained into a nemolith like this. If you're curious, nemolith is spelled like this. I mean, I know it's something you use in your everyday parlance, guys, but just out of an abundance of caution, that's how nemolith is spelled. So this may very well be the communication that Dre says that they received. And he says, this is yours. And would everybody kindly give us a perception check at minus 10? Perception is a stat in this game, not a skill. Let's see how you guys do.
So you just put -10 into the modifier box?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, good grief.
Good Lord.
I actually,
I'm not really paying
who
attention.
managed that?
Okay. So Regia, yeah, that's a pretty. So Regia is. I can tell you why too. There's something unusual. There's some unusual psychic disturbance that you can feel, like a ripple almost from something is focusing its attention. But unfortunately, that is not enough of a warning for you guys to do anything before, from up in the smoke and soot-filled rafters where all the noise is accumulating from this vast market, a bird swoops down. There's a flash of steel on this thing. It must be bionically or cybernetically enhanced in some capacity. Snatches the stone and begins taking flight. Those of you who succeeded, you will be able to take a half action before the bird grasps the stone. Oh, not before it grabs the stone, but before it flies out of reach. So that is Godwin, Regius, and Quinili. Let's start with Regius, because you rolled the best. Regius, you can take a half action. I think at most you're like maybe 3 meters away from this. It's such a kind of cramped area, and you didn't describe yourself as standing way, way back. Is that about the way you were picturing your character?
Yep. Okay. So, how big is this bird?
About the size of a raven. So it's a good sized, or a crow, a good sized bird.
Okay. I would think that I've got my. Well, would it be reasonable that I've been brought my steel staff?
Yes. I mean, if you think so, yeah.
Yep. So I'll just be. So I'll take a swipe at.
So the thing is, you're 3 meters away, and you only have a half action available to you. A standard attack is a half action, but to move, it's also a half action. So what are you thinking?
Okay, I'll just move and grab.
Well, no, again, those are two different things.
Sorry.
Moving in this, I believe, is an action, isn't it?
Well,
Let's see here.
well,
Yeah,
it's not
move is a half
anything
or
I
a
can
full.
do then.
Unless you could
Well, I can't
shoot it
draw my
without-
gun. That's a half action as well, so it's nothing I can actually do.
throw your staff.
Here, take this too.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's anything I can do then.
Okay.
But,
Do you want to say something or yell something? Remember, one of the things that they have in this game, very similar to Pathfinder 2, is you can spend a half action to make a perception check, just to get a lay of the land.
I will say you could possibly draw a ranged weapon for next round. It may not disappear.
yeah,
next round.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll just draw my hell pistol at that point.
Okay, Hell Pistol is out. Next, best is Quinelli. What are you doing, Quinelli? Fucking Cyberbird is stealing your stone.
Very disturbing. I'm going to grab it. It's so close to me. I'm right there.
Okay.
I'm grabbing.
Okay. So then grabbing is a...
Once you've grabbed it, I'll shoot with my hell pistol.
Hold on. Let's see here.
No, wait
Go
till
wrong.
wait till it carries me 100 feet in the air and then crack.
And then shoot it down. Yep.
Yeah.
Look at the size of those shoulders in your illustration. There's no way that bird's lifting you.
Say about your son. He died rather quickly when he arrived to the planet. I feel badly.
Okay, now hold on. So grapple as a half action. For those listening at home, there's a lot to the combat rules in this, so we will be looking stuff up for the first couple of sessions as we go to make sure we're doing it right.
And then a little longer.
If
because
the
we're
active
taking
character
breaks.
is, let's see here, when...
We'll have it all under control by session 20.
Exactly. This is my reason for having 92 adventures before we get to the Warpstone thing. It's by then we'll know everything backwards and forwards. There's not. It's just permutations of the same thing, right? So
yeah.
Just getting to know it. All right. So what I'm looking at is. Yeah, okay, so a grapple can use a standard attack action. I'm looking on page 246. The target of a grapple may use a reaction, which this thing will do, to try and avoid. I only have to... this is one of those games where you only have to make the defense if the attack is successful, and if the attack is successful, or if the defense is successful, it cancels out the attack. So, first things first here, Quinelli. This will be a weapon skill check.
Okay.
To try and grab this thing. So, give me my stone.
All right.
Again, you have. Oh, hold on. And you didn't spend your fate point. There you go. I did it for you. Your blue bar is your fate points.
Okay. I thought I had. Let's see. All right.
You may have spent Alessandra's. Alessandra's is.
I think I did. That was sneaky. You know what? That's rogue trader type stuff right there. That is pure rogue trader.
Really leaning in the rogue part of that multi-class.
Alessander works for the party. I mean, what's so?
Here, let me do this. I will. Here, I'll make it easy for you guys. Give me 2 seconds to. So there will be no mishaps. This is a setting where I can say robbing Peter to pay Paul. Let's see here. Although perhaps it should be robbing Horace to pay. I don't know.
Right.
Where is it here? This is edited by.
To rob the ecclesiastes or something.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm just gonna. So Regius is now only you have control. Oh, come on. Boy, I wish they would fix that thing where it just automatically drags the character sheet around.
Oh yeah.
You can't stop if you click on the top bar, it'll stop doing that. But getting to that point where you can click the fucking thing is really irritating sometimes. Okay, so that is corrected. There we go. Alessandra, see, god damn it, it's irritating. Edited by Alessandra. There we go. And Godwin. Go. Edit.
So is the room fairly... are there a lot of people here?
Tons of people. Imagine a packed mall.
Okay, then Godwin shouts out...
No, sorry, I actually wasn't asking you. I was just adjusting your thing. I wasn't asking you.
Oh, I thought you were asking... I thought you were telling me it was my turn.
No. I was doing you last. Everyone's token now should only be accessible to the player for editing the bar. You should be able to see the bar.
Gotcha.
But actually,
is this so Sean doesn't start spending the other people's fate points?
Trading.
Well, just making sure there's no more friendly fire as far as fate is concerned. That's all.
You just said spend a fate point. You didn't say whose dungeon.
Spoken like a rogue trader, indeed. All right, I'm obeying the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law. Go ahead and give us a weapon skill attack, please. No modifiers.
Right, I'm going to blow through some more here. Spending another one. Now my own.
You can only spend one per round, incidentally. So if you spend one at the start, that means you can't spend it for a reroll.
Oh, then I'm going to hold off.
Okay. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Attack the bird.
Okay. That's
Whoa! A negative. Dre, why did you bring your bird? Do you wish to spend a fate point and re-roll that?
I do.
Okay.
Let's see here. We go. There we go.
Okay. 0.9. All right. So then I have to make a dodge check, and let me see what the dodge skill is for this giant demon bird. I mean, totally normal, nothing unusual about it. Bird. Let's see. It is. Okay, so it told me the stats for the other stuff, but did not have. Okay, let's say it's got a dodge of 45s, and I'll roll in chat for you guys because that sounds like fun. Oh! It fails. You've grabbed hold of the vert. Godwin, what do you wish to do? Half action.
Godwin is looking. He scans the crowd for anybody who's particularly interested in this bird.
Yeah. So would you give us? Let's see here. I think you can use awareness as a half action. Let me see. I want to read the description of awareness and see what it actually is supposed to do. If it's sort of like the better version of perception, then we'll use that. Here we go. Skills. I think the rulebook is pretty well laid out too.
And if you hover over the letter I next to the skill, it gives you a description.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's nice, yeah.
Subconscious ability to react to things. Can use it to ambushes, traps. Yes, absolutely. And awareness uses your perception as a base. So go ahead and give us an awareness check, Godwin. And you can spend fate points if you'd like.
Fate points. So
by any chance, does it give you the options for fate points when you hover over it?
I'll start to click on it. There's a modifier and then a submit button.
Yes. Where there's a little where it says fate points, if you hover over next to it, it tells you all the things you can do with fate points.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This is a great character sheet. Holy smokes.
That is nice. It is nice.
Nice. So what are you doing, Godwin? Are you going to spend any fate points, or are you just going to roll awareness?
Yes, I'd like to spend a fate point.
Okay. So you'll be plus 10 to the roll then. As your modifier.
So click on the plus 10 and then hit.
Yes. 2.5 degrees of success. Nice. So what you see is that there are about 30 meters away at different sort of vantage points in here. You recognize these. Armsmen. Drawing weapons and looking directly towards you and where Quinelli and the entourage of explorers are located.
Can I point them out as a free action?
Your action was to scan the crowd and get them all in. Now, we're going to take our mid-session break. But then, when we get back, we will be rolling some initiative. And then we'll talk about how combat works in this game and that. But yeah, we'll be back in, let me get this opened up and set up. Back in 5 minutes, folks.
Kev's not back. He must be having a fun time with Anna.
All right. I'm going to check, Dave, and see if speaking is a free action, because if it is... It's not say on the DM screen. Let's take a look at the rule book. Because if we learn it now, we'll know in future. Starships, navigators, psychic powers, or Earth. Here we go. Explosive critical damage leg. There we go.
Nice. 236 free actions?
Yes, actually, I just got there. Thank you. There's no formal limit to the free actions.
Speaking a few words.
Yeah, I think yeah, there you go. So you could shout something out, Godwin, if you like.
Yeah, I think he definitely would then.
Okay, what would he say? We're doomed.
The balcony.
Doomed.
Eyes to the balcony.
Okay. Then, so they are about 30 meters away from you, but stationed at different places. Allow me to get a little token set up here.
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
There are 4 of them, yes. So, let's see here. I have this listed, and here we go. All right. So, the combat system sounds more complicated than it actually is, I think. It really is effectively like the 3rd edition D&D type thing. We roll initiative, that sets the order for how everything is going to be, and then on your turn you can take 2 half actions or you can take 1 full action. You are restricted to 1 reaction per turn unless you take a specifically defensive stance. And yeah, that's kind of it. Then why don't we click on our tokens? Click on initiative. You want me to roll first, and then you tell me what to see if you can beat me. I need our
Initiative is combat tab,
it is on
bottom right.
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
This is a busy character sheet.
Indeed.
Okay.
Combat tab.
Bottom right. Combat tab, bottom right.
Okay.
Now, for your characters, hold on, guys. Before you roll, just stop for a moment. I think
okay,
something
sorry.
may have gone wrong here because I think no, those were filled out properly. So why is because Alessander, you guys shouldn't be rolling less than 4 for your initiatives because it adds your when you roll initiative, you add your agility bonus to the roll.
Bless you.
Yeah, and your agility bonus should be a 3 there. So let me just take a look at your character sheet there, Lysander. You may need to add your agility bonus. It may not add it automatically.
So it has a field for us to type in right on the sheet our ag bonus.
It says it says type here your agility bonus default. Yep. So make sure that you've added in whatever your agility bonus is at the top. So like you get a +4 for yours, Alessander.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So what we'll do is I'll add 4 to your result there. You got a 6. Everyone make sure that you've got the correct bonus listed in for your initiative, and then go ahead and click on your token, and then click on initiative.
It's a great roll.
Yes, same. There we go. All right. So, first up are the ambushers. All right. So then let's see, I've got 2 that have auto pistols and 2 that have las pistols. So let's start with Quinilly. Because Godwin has called out for you, that means that you're aware of them, so you will be able to defend. So you have your Seneschal to thank for for being able to try and avoid this damage. But here we go, round 1. Grab my dice here. Go around the long way.
Being a suspicious old bastard and constantly scanning the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Then. So this is short range for this. Let me just get my modifiers here, guys. Oh, that is on the DM screen. There we go. Sorry, guys. Too many things. It's learning what you need to have open as part of these games. All the modifiers are on here, so that's nice.
Open your mind.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, so it first one takes a shot at you, Quinelli is 35. Okay. That is a hit. So would you like to dodge?
And dodge is a half.
Before you do that,
reaction.
Before you do that,
reaction,
would
right?
you give us a 1d10 roll, please?
All right.
Okay. So you, before you dodge, someone, as you're looking over, you see someone point the gun at you. You're about to try and get a dodge in, but then a passerby walks in front. You will have 8 extra armor as they are shot first before you get hit. So you can choose to use your reaction to dodge against this one, or you can let the damage go between you and your armor. Assume that whatever armor you have on you right now.
And we get one reaction, right? One reaction.
One reaction, yeah.
4 bad guys. I think I am going to, I'm going to let it fly. I'm going to thank I mutter a thanks to the Emperor for this passerby's dedication and commitment.
Mom? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Right.
Would you give us a 1d10 plus 2 roll then?
Okay.
Oh, sucked up fully by the passerby. Ah, they're shot. The assassin then moves behind cover a bit. So, that one does. The next one, or assassin, it's not an Imperial assassin, the ambushers, is also going to shoot at you, Quinelli. So there's a second shot at you. I miss. It also moves into cover. Regia, I think you're up next here. Regia, forgive me. Say my name right, Madison. That one is a hit. Now, give us a 1d10 roll, please. Oh, wide open. Wide open. Would you like to dodge this?
Yeah, although I'm probably not that good at it.
So remember, you've got your fate point. You can choose to spend it to get plus 10. You can save till afterwards and re-roll. What are you thinking?
So what is the dodge?
It's your dodge skill. If you do not have training in it, I believe it's half your agility then.
Oh, well, then that's...
Dodge is under the basic skills.
Yeah. So it's essentially nothing. Well, I guess I'll roll it anyway. I'll fuse.
Here we go.
One.
Come on, big money.
Oh, good grief.
Oh, so
That's
close.
very close, too. Holy smokes. You want to spend a fate point and reroll?
Is that
Actually,
that's
another
a success, isn't it? It says...
Oh, yeah, it is.
No, minus.
Minus.
Can I...
Can you spend a fate point to add a degree of success? Which would that?
Yes, you could.
Right, is it only if you succeed, though?
Does it say that on the character sheet?
Yeah, I'm just trying to check on... Just checking right now.
I don't think...
Come on.
It says add an extra degree of success, so you have to have already
Test
succeeded.
must be successful.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
hold on, because I don't know if the nomenclature describes like negative degrees of success as degrees of success as well. So it could.
So under the I, it says test must be successful for this effect to apply.
There you go. Okay, so then do you want to spend your fate point to re-roll that?
Reroll.
I guess. Yep.
Okay. Here we go. Big money. Come on. Let's see that success. Oh no.
But I've only got a 15% chance, so.
Okay. So then, would you give us a percentile roll, please?
Yikes.
And I'll just roll damage. Where the heck did I put? Oh, there they are. 23 catches you in the left arm. So whatever armor you've got there, This has a penetrating of 2. No, penetrating 3. And 6 points of damage. So what is your
Okay, so
armor?
5 points of damage.
5 points of damage. Yeah, so what's your armor in your left arm?
4. Oh, hang on. Is it 3 or 4? Let me just double check again. Yeah, it's 4.
It's 4. That's reduced to 2. If you took 6 points, yeah, so 4 points of damage you take. And taking wound damage, it's only when you lose your wounds that you start taking critical hits. So, if you're shot in the leg, Regius, but your armor does manage to protect you to some measure. That's all of the ambushers. Godwin, what are you doing? Oh, wait, did I attack with all 4? I got one more, don't I? Because I haven't shot Godwin yet. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you didn't shoot at me.
Here we go, Godwin. A little something for you. Coming in the mail. It is a miss, unfortunately. Godwin, it is your turn now. What are you doing? They also have run for some cover.
I'm going to try and move.
Okay.
And try and... I don't know if we can get there upstairs.
So because of the crowd... you're somewhat limited in your movement because of being jostled by all the people. They're beginning to panic and run all over right now.
Okay.
So they're 30 meters away. What is your movement? All right, let me take a look here. I can tell you 1 sec here. 1 sec here. Okay, movement. As a half action, you can move a number of meters equal to your agility bonus. But because of the... you have to have your agility bonus, so your moving is reduced by half.
Oh, okay, so it's not going to be... Moving through this place is going to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah, definitely at this point.
Okay. Can I find cover, though? Like...
Yep. You can spend one action just trying to duck behind something to get a little bit of cover.
Yeah, okay. And draw my hell pistol?
No, you don't have quick draw, do you? I can't remember which of the two characters had that.
I don't think I do, no.
It'll be under your talents.
I don't see it there.
Yeah, I think it might have been the Arc Militant who had that. Let's see here.
I have etiquette.
Resistance fear, you're great. You're good to go.
I love being able to have etiquette.
All right, so then, you draw your weapon. Then, Quinilli, you got this bird. Oh, yeah, the bird has to go. Shit. Hold on, that would go on their turn. So, 4 grapples. Let's see here. There we go. Break free. An opposed strength check. So, go ahead and give us a strength check there, Quinelli. This bird's trying to get away from you, and we're just going to compare degrees of success. I actually rolled 1.2 degree of success.
You got me.
Shit. Okay, so it got, but I mean, that's its action. Oh, it breaks free and may perform a half action. It's starting to fly up, but it has dropped the stone, and it has rolled into the crowd. Okay, so Quinilla, your turn now. What's happened on the bird's turn is it got free of you, but it was in the course of that, it dropped the stone. The stone has rolled off into the crowd. What do you want to do with your actions?
Diving for the stone.
You need to see where it is first. So have a half action.
Okay. To
give us a perception or awareness check.
All right.
Probably just perception. Yeah, you see precisely where it is. It's sort of like, if you're thinking the opening of Temple of Doom, you're thinking right. You see it through the legs, moving back and forth. What are you doing then?
I am diving for my destiny.
What is your agility bonus?
3.
Halved is 1. So you're trying to fight your way through the people to get over there. Unless you wish to try and you make use of a skill to try and expedite things.
Let's see. What do I have? Yeah, I will try command.
Okay. So go ahead and give us a roll.
Look at that. I'm hot.
It's pretty good. So I think that people are starting to clear out from you faster than what it would normally take. Normally, what it would have been, this crowd would have taken 3 rounds for it to sort of, push away. I'm going to reduce that to 2 rounds now. Okay, so you're still not able to get there, but you will be able to get there soon. Alexander, what are you doing?
Okay, I'm going to ready my weapon.
Okay.
And I have a question. If I aim on this turn, then I get the bonus next turn?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, then I'll use my other half action and take aim at the nearest.
I think it's so long as you don't move. Like, you have to attack, but you can't move or take other actions.
Right. Yeah, like if you line it up this turn and then shoot next turn, that's all good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you could do a half turn aim or a full turn aim, which affects you next, right?
Right.
So one that's plus 10 and plus 20 for the full.
If you spend a whole turn just aiming, you get plus 20.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it just means your next action, aiming, are lost if you perform a reaction before performing your attack. So
That's going to dodge.
Right, if you have to dodge, you might lose it. But I couldn't. Well, I guess I could shoot instead without aiming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Then I'll just shoot.
Okay.
Because if I have to dodge, maybe then
What is no, hold on here.
the penalty for cover.
No, what's the range of your weapon?
35.
Okay, so they're definitely within short range then. So I think it's plus 10. And they have taken cover though. So. That
Yeah, I didn't see cover on the.
it's one of the
list.
modifiers. So it is. Let's see here.
Because I was trying to find it. Is it? I should have checked. Is it one where it depends on where you hit?
Yes, the hit location is covered by it, and in this case also crowd. Like you potentially could hit a crowd. Remember, but go ahead, Alessandro. I think it's just plus 10.
Okay.
And then if you hit, I get to decide if I'm dodging.
No aim. Short range.
Yep.
And
Oh, so if it has a range modifier, don't bother putting the other things.
oh my god.
You could spend a fate point and re-roll that if you'd like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want my very first important roll to just be a total junker. Come on. Okay.
Shoot one of your friends.
And this is the legendary FFG low hit
Yeah.
chances.
Oh,
Oh,
hits.
it hits.
No, it's a minus. Tech misses.
Oh,
I don't know why it says hits. It's at minus 06.
no.
Yeah. So that is a miss. Yeah, because you had 52. So you fire, and that unfortunately goes wild. Top of the round, these guys. So we're on round 2. Bird is going to try and see where that stone is. Does see it. And then is going to try and swoop down once again. It's hovering over, but not able to quite get down to where it is. But it's definitely going for that. There's something unnatural about this bird. It seems very intent on going for that thing. Then we've got let's see here, Quinelli. Let's do one at each of you guys. That'll be fun. So Quinelli, fire at you. That's a hit. Give us a 1d10 roll. There still is a crowd here. Oh, no cover. Do you want to dodge or you want to take the hit?
I will dodge.
Okay, go right ahead.
Negative.
Ooh, you take 7 points of damage, pen to your body, to your body.
So my body has 7, so I think I take
So
2.
5, yep, 2 points, that's correct, yep. Hits you right in the chest. Then against Godwin.
Is it because I dodged that I missed my round there?
Oh, sorry, no, Regis, you get your round. Hold on, Japers.
Yeah, all I'm going to do is get undercover. So you can go back to
Yeah.
You can go back to the sequence again.
Okay. You're fully hidden. Are you completely hiding your body from these guys?
No. I'm just going to get behind, peeking over, so
Yeah, okay.
get my
Okay.
so I can shoot over the desk or whatever.
You got it. Okay, so we'll say one of your arms and your head are visible. All right, Godwin. Did you take cover as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So here we
But
go.
I'm cover with gun out, so it's kind of like peeking over.
I aim and shoot at you and misses you. Regius. I aim and shoot at you. Wild miss. Alessander. I'm aiming and shooting at you. I miss again. Okay. Then it is Godwin. What are you doing?
Can I shoot the bird?
You can try, sure.
Sure, what the hell?
Okay.
Shoot the bird.
Are you going to aim or are you just going to shoot?
Yeah, I probably should aim because I'm not very good with my pistol. Not
Okay.
like the Arc Militant or somebody.
Okay.
All right, so do I have to click on something for aiming?
It'll prompt you, I think, as you go.
Yeah, as soon as you click attack, it's like one of the
Half aim?
prompts. Yeah.
Half aim plus 10.
Half aim, yeah.
Range?
Short.
Single
Oh,
shot.
we need something a little more intense than this, too.
No modifier. All right. Oh!
What was that?
Oh!
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, but yours doesn't malfunction.
Yeah, yours is a best,
It's your
so it doesn't
helper.
malfunction. So there's this scorching ray that fires off at this bird, but I mean, you could spend a fate point to re-roll if you'd like.
Hey, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
So 2 fate points now. Let's try this again. Half aim. Short range. Single shot. No mods.
Okay. All right. Then it is Quinelli's turn. What are you doing? Well, why did it skip so? It's Quinelli, your turn. What are you doing?
I am continuing for the stone.
Okay, so then I think if you spend... Why don't we do this? You spend one half action to move over there to sort of push your way through, and then why don't you give us an agility check, try and snatch it.
Okay. Just checking here, checking. Okay, agility coming up. Oh, so close.
Oh boy! Now, well, yeah. You want to
With
spend fate to re-roll, or
sure.
okay? I'm
Yeah,
sure
can we
no
do-
one's going to have fate points left on the table by the end of the night.
I know, right? Let's see.
Checking by the end of the encounter.
There we go.
There you go. Wow, you've got it in your hand. All right, Alessander, what are you doing? You were aiming. Did you didn't have to dodge?
No, I didn't aim. I just shot last time.
Oh,
I'm
right.
gonna aim this time, the half action, and try and shoot again.
Who are you shooting? One of the guys or the bird?
Well, the bird doesn't have this. As far as I know, I'm shooting the guys that are shooting at us.
Yeah.
That seems to be the smarter move for me.
Never a bad plan.
Okay, so aim, close range, or short range, I should say. Fire.
Solid hit. Okay, I got a dodge. Let's see here. Their dodge is actually give me a D10 roll first here, please.
Blow away somebody in the bar.
Yeah.
Oops.
Welcome to the cafe.
Yep. So, but what was the damage? Oh, you haven't rolled damage yet. Go ahead and roll damage.
Damage.
Oh, there's the pen. Awesome. 9. So actually, that goes through the person. So you blow through a person. Let me make the.
Alessandro, yeah.
Narrowly misses it. He is tagged in the body by this. So it hits a passerby who sort of spins and falls down from your hand cannon, but you do clip him as well, too, right in the chest. Doesn't seem to penetrate his armor. Regius, what are you doing?
I'm just going to do a full aim.
Okay.
At
Then
one
it
of these guys.
is these things' turn. The bird actually is flying up into the rafters. Then these guys are going to... Oh, yeah, this is one round 3 now. They're going to spend a half action to move, and then they're going to shoot at you. They're moving back. That is... Ooh. I hit you, Quinelli, with a 3. So...
dodged?
Yeah, because right now the crowd, because of you commanding people out of the way, there's no cover anymore. So go ahead and give us a dodge.
Okay.
Nice.
There we go.
So what do you? What's this look like?
I think I look up to, kind of looking down a barrel and heave myself to the side, hitting like a booth, and the bolt rocks past me.
Nice. Then on Godwin, let's see here. That is a miss. Likewise, moving back. Regius, also a miss, and Alessander, also a miss. Then is Godwin.
I will just crack off a couple of shots in their direction without aiming.
Okay, go ahead.
No aim. Range short or...
They move back. So what's the range on your weapon?
In range? Range... 35?
35. Yeah, so that would be within your short range. Go ahead. They can't move that far back.
Ooh, what's a called shot?
Called shot is calling for a specific location. They do not have any armor on their heads, for instance.
So if I did a called shot instead?
You did a called shot to the head, yeah. Or to where, wherever.
20.
Called shot to the head. You can always roll well, right?
Yeah. So they put zeros on those 10s dice.
Remember, one thing, Godwin, your hell pistol's got such armor penetration that...
True.
Okay, so that's... spend a fate point?
No.
Okay. So you fire, and it unfortunately goes wild. You're trying to get that head of his. Is a called shot a full action, or is that half action?
Interesting.
Called shot is a full.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Then it is Quinelli. What are you doing?
Half action, take cover.
Okay.
Half action, draw my pistol.
You got it. Alessander.
I'm going to keep firing away here at these fools. I have a couple more shots before I'm out of. I have to reload.
Nice. Okay, so I have to dodge. My dodge is a 45, I think. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, kind of falling back. Deeks out of the way when he sees you aim at him. Your shot goes wild. And then it is Regius. What are you doing?
I will fire a burst at one of these lovely gentlemen.
What is the range of yours?
35 as well.
35 as well. Yep. So short range.
Back. Full aim.
Come on.
Short range. Semi-auto. And
there we go. Nice. Okay, so he needs to
attack
dodge
hits.
45. Oh, just barely gets out of the way of that. Sheepers.
Oh, actually,
Then-
yeah.
What's that?
No, fine.
Okay, so then at that point, what you guys hear is there's a squawking from above as speakers come to life. In the name of the Emperor, lay down your arms. And you can hear people sort of moving out of the way as some armored fellows are pushing their way through the crowd. They are the Adeptus Arbites. Arbites?
Arbites.
Arbites, thank you.
But not Arbites, anyway.
Yeah, they are bites. Going with Reg. Come on, Reg.
Reg
Okay.
the Arbites.
So they're pushing their way through, and what you see is every one of those armsmen immediately drops their weapons and puts their hands up. They have, and people are doing the exact same things, dropping to their knees. The Adeptus Arbites. Arbites are there's only 4 of them, there's only 5 of them, I guess, but they seem to be commanding the crowd in a way that only that kind of law enforcement character can. Then they are making their way along, but you guys are at the epicenter of this. The trouble seemed to all happen from around you guys. Quinella, you cannot see any sign of the bird as you're looking around, and they are, stalking towards you guys. What do you all do?
I put my weapon away.
Holster my weapon, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And tuck the stone into my suit, into an inner pocket.
Yeah. So as you are making your way,
is Dre around? Dre still in the?
Yes, he's hiding behind that. That place where you guys were having the coffee. He's underneath that table right now.
Okay.
And Regius, would you give us a Senescence roll, please?
Yep.
This one will be. Let's see here. I think this one will be ordinary, +10.
Too busy admiring the architect.
When you guys roll skill checks, does it give you the option of modifiers by the descriptor or just by the number?
Number.
Then I'll just I ask because I'll give you the numbers from now on instead of giving you the descriptors. We're not playing Marvel superheroes, so we don't need to know that it's ordinary or excellent or incredible. So then, Regius, do you wish to spend a fate point or leave it?
Okay, yep, I'll spend the fate point. That's good.
There we go, big money.
There you go.
As you are looking around, there's something you hear from, this is a sort of mixing metaphor, but you can hear through your third eye the calling of that bird back to its master. It is some kind of psychic familiar of some kind.
Yeah, this isn't just some servitor or anything. This is...
Yeah. So it, you kind of can feel that as you're distracted, and the Adeptus Arbites walk. How come I'm having a hell of a time remembering that? Arbites?
Arbites, yeah.
Okay, Adeptus Arbites. They make their way up, and then they see you, Quinella, and you would always know to display your, sort of your mark of station. And they, the lead Arbites walks up. It's Arbitrator Sergeant named Targos. He walks up. He nods towards you, not moving his helmet off whatsoever, and says, "Captain, a bit of trouble here."
Indeed, Adeptus Arbites. We just arrived and had an unwelcome encounter.
So
they
I
set
see.
Upon us.
Such trouble is unfortunately part of the lower part of the Court of Death. Violence is a sadly regular occurrence here, but if this did seem to focus on you, though, sir.
Indeed, I look down and I say, I was not trying to be ostentatious. I only things of my station.
I'm sure no fault of yours, sir. Can I ask, would you kindly accompany us to the precinct complex? I suspect that the head inspector, the precept marshal, would appreciate giving full attention to the identity of your assailants. We don't take kindly to those who take up arms against the rogue traders.
Yes, I think that would be fine.
Your time is appreciated, sir. Then, now, before we transition, let's quickly talk about first aid. Because there are a couple of you guys, Regius and Quinelli both got tagged in some capacity. So let's quickly just review that. Okay, so healing wounds. What's it say here? You're fucked. That's weird. Huh. Oh, no, hold on. Wrong section. So if your damage is equal to or less than your wounds, let's see your wounds. You don't need to worry about that. Removing damage. Here we go. Characters automatically remove damage through natural healing. That's good to know. Medical attention. You're not members of the Russian royal family. Medical attention and some psychic powers can remove damage. Healing is on page 262. There we go. You are lightly damaged if you have taken damage equal to or less than twice your toughness bonus. So you've only taken 2 points of damage, Quinelli. Regius, you've taken 4. Is that less than twice your toughness bonus? You guys all have like 30.
My toughness is 5, so less than 10, yes.
Okay. Then you remove 1 damage per day through natural healing. Medical attention. Let's see here. Information's on the Medicae skill, page 83. Here we go. Anyone have training in Medicae?
Negative. Anybody else?
We can ask that beaters when we get to the precinct. They should have a medic.
Yeah, nice. Because on a successful first aid, successful Medicae test removes damage equal to the explorer's intelligence bonus on lightly damaged characters or 1 from heavily or critically damaged. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I will say to him, perhaps you have a medic at the precinct for my crew.
Hold on. Or go. And one of the seemingly identical arbiters comes over. What was his name? Arbiter Sergeant. It says, injuries here. Says, right, sir. Pulls out some little first aid kit. So he'll have an intelligence of 35. He will be trained in Medicae to a little bit higher level than you guys would be. So it's a 45. So why don't Regius and Quinelli each give us a percentile roll, 45 or less, and you will be able to restore 3 points of damage. Nice, Quinelli. Yep. Nice as well. All right, so you each recover 3 points of damage.
There we go.
Okay. Another day, Regius, you'll be right as rain. Just a little bruising on your left leg, that's all.
Much appreciated, Sergeant.
Cool, sir. You are accompanied through here and through the crowd. You guys had a little bit of attention beforehand. Dre comes along with you as well. He is not does not want to be left behind. It is. Oh, you know what? It's probably on the map here. Let's take a look here. I think we can switch music once again. That's all. And let's go to actually this one again.
Move my turn order.
Okay. Go. Boom. Okay. So if you're brought over, you can see, let's see here, where is it? It is the precinct complex, which is not on the map. So it is probably, if it's a precinct, I imagine it is nearest the Court of the Dead. And there's other Arbides who handle other, other precincts. You see that the 4 gunmen are likewise brought into custody, and they are actually handcuffed. They are not, they are not allowed to walk freely. Would each of you give us a perception check, please? Okay. Makes sense that you would notice this, Quinelli. Regius is just distracted by something.
Skill or the perception?
Just a perception stat, please. There you go. Okay. So both Godwin, it makes sense that you would notice this as well too. Godwin and Quinelli, you are walking along with the arbitrators, and which of you has the higher perception?
41.
34.
Okay, so Godwin, you look over and you sort of nudge Quinelli and like, look, each of the armsmen has a marking as if they are part of some, what do you call it? Some rogue trader dynasty ship. All of your crew carry similar markings. Now, you can give us a, I think, Quinelli, do you have any kind of rogue lore or knowledge relating to rogue traders? Nothing related to the Coronis Expanse?
He's young. He doesn't. He knows nothing. Kevin, it was a pleasure planet, for God's sake.
As the father of a 20-something too, I appreciate your character being in his mid to late 20s and be like, I'm young. Like, you're in your 20s, man.
It wasn't a school planet. It was a pleasure planet.
Godwin, you have no lore or any skill in that area either?
Not in those specific lores.
Okay. So then you know that it is definitely, these are likely a member of a crew from somewhere, but you don't know what dynasty it's from at this point. You were brought to the precinct, and the precinct itself is a huge, imposing edifice. Something that looms over the rest of the Court of the Dead. And it is a starkly unpleasant place. You spend some time waiting in a fairly nondescript office, something that almost seems designed to oppress with its architecture. When finally a woman arbitrator comes in and introduces herself as Precept Marshal Kyra Valkyrin. I'll put that in chat for you. Precept Marshal Kyra Valkyrin. Whoops. Kieran. There we go. She comes in. They're not like they're not making it, at least it doesn't seem that they're like making you sweat or anything like that. Like, you're not in an interrogation room. They're affording you the respect that your status is due. She comes in and says, she actually seems a little off-put. Captain, I'm sorry that I kept you and your people waiting. Have you any insight that you can offer as to who your attackers might be?
Precept Marshal, I was going to ask you that. I was peering at my attacker's iconography, and I can't quite place it, but it's clearly from a rogue trader family.
And not from yours? Not from your dynasty?
Kevin, I assume it's not mine.
No, it's not. Definitely not. No.
Okay. It is not mine.
So she kind of looks and then goes down to the data slate and puts it through. Targos was able to... Are you familiar with the fell Rogue Trader Dynasty?
Fell.
I'm young.
Yeah. It was a pleasure planted, Precinct Marshal. A pleasure planted.
Fell, and she. If you don't make any indications, well, there's a rogue trader named Haderach Fell, but they say that they were not acting on his orders, and unless you have anything you can offer us, then I have nothing that I can conclusively point to this Haderach Fell as being responsible for this. Do you or your dynasty have any animosity with the Fell dynasty?
Kevin, do I know of any? No. Not that I'm aware of, Precinct Marshal. I would think I'd be aware of it, but who knows? Rogue traders are a funny lot, aren't they? With a bit of mirth.
You can picture she's got her helmet down, so you can't really see her eyes. But to make sure you appreciate it, she just does a.
Yeah.
Funny. The amount of time we spend dealing with nobles sabotaging each other, and merchants trying to kill one another, and suppliers and trading starting fights over small things. The last thing I would find funny is firing guns in a crowded room at where two dynasties are fighting one another.
Couldn't agree more, Precinct Marshal. I was fallen upon, me and my comrades. We were having coffee.
Dre kind of stands up, and he kind of forgot that he was here.
Yeah.
And he says, I actually recognize the name. And you both sort of look at one another. And he looks at you, Quinelli, and kind of gives a look of like, do you want me to say? He serves your dynasty.
Dre, you recognize the family, I assume, being a person in these circles, but I presume you.
Precept Marshal says, well then, who? And he looks at you and looks at her, and he says, well, there was... I don't know Haderach Fell, but I can tell you there was a... on here. I don't know him personally, but I know a Haderach Fell once worked contacts with my old captain, Carlorn. If somehow he became aware of, and he sort of looks at where you've concealed the stone, the Nemelith, perhaps an heirloom, Precept Marshal. Captain Aquare was good enough to come and see me while they were at Port Harbor? No. Port Wander.
Wander, yeah.
While they were in Port Wander. And I was able to pass along an heirloom. And she looks at you, once again, Captain Aquare. This is a fight over possession.
Well, we don't exactly know why they attacked, but I guess they must have tracked Dre here to get to the scion of the family. I don't know if it's personal or not. I'm not aware of anything my family and this family that I've not even heard of has any quarrel. I don't know.
So the Precept Marshal sort of stops for a moment and says it says here that Targos spoke to witnesses, and it seems as if Fell's men, while I cannot prove that they were acting under his order, they were the aggressors in this situation. I take it that is your evidence as well?
Yes, indeed.
Then, we do not have the capacity to protect you, though I appreciate you did not ask for such protection. I would warn you to be on your guard, and if there is another incident, I can guarantee that there will be swift intervention by the Adeptes Arbites.
Your response time this time was impressive, Precinct Marshal. I am happy for your presence.
The Court of Death is more waiting for a pot to boil, not questioning whether it will.
Mm-hmm.
Though it seems you handled yourselves well to their aggression.
So far, so good, Precinct Marshal. So far, so good.
Then, if there is, I have no further questions for you. I appreciate you taking your time.
Indeed. No problem. Anything for the Arbites.
Then, for the... unless there's anything else you guys wish to try and get from the Precept Marshal, you guys are free to go.
For the Emperor.
For the Emperor. She gives a gesture. So, as you guys are leaving, what Hadrak, not Hadrak, Dre leans into you, Quinelli, and he says, he may have known about that, the Nemolith. If he knew about that and what it held, he may be seeking the righteous path for himself, seeking to steal your legacy.
Speaking of Haderach, I assume.
Yes.
Yes. I don't think there's much question of that, actually. The bird is an interesting touch.
Yeah, so Regius is the only one who would have known
there's
about...
more to that bird. There's I suspect a psyker involved somewhere.
And if you see the stone, the way that the Nemoliths are accessed, a psyker is, or an astropath is the one who generally, puts it in and whatnot, but anyone who's psychically active, including a navigator, can access them. It's just a stone to anyone who does not have any psychic ability whatsoever, but Regius, for instance, could access this thing.
I almost wonder if we should go back to the ship before working with the stone again after that quick greeting by
Dre says, it is a meager holding, but your family, I have kept my quarters are at our property of your dynasty. You could stay here as well. It's about as long as it is broad, to be honest. So it's just a question of whether you want to be back on the ship or whether you want to be,
What do you think,
Godwin?
Godwin?
To draw them out. If they are indeed acting against you on purpose, staying here might give them another opportunity, and this time we could be prepared.
It's fine with me. We need a bit of privacy to access the message, but besides that, I am open. It is the path forward. Lead on, Dre.
Very well. I leads you through from the precinct through the edge of the Court of the Dead and to his quarters. It takes probably about maybe 20 minutes to navigate your way through to there. There are like shuttles and whatnot, or not shuttles, but like railway type things or trams that would take you around on Port Wander, because it is big enough to require that. But you, after that 20 minutes, you find yourself in it's effectively an apartment that is. It's a little bigger. It's not quite a what do you call it? A studio, but it's not much more than that. Seemed after 100 years, your the amount of money he could draw on from the dynasty is somewhat meager. But he escorts all of you in, one way out. There are some windows in here that could be that you could get out of as well. I mentioned before about not bringing like a full detachment of troops, but if you did want to bring guards down, especially now that you know that the other road traders brought a couple of guards down, you certainly could. It wouldn't be unreasonable to draw a couple of armsmen if you wish to.
Godwin, whatever you think.
Bring 200.
I say we don't bring in anybody in an obvious manner. A few guards in casual clothing, crateable weapons and armor.
Okay. So a couple men that you trust, you have them arrange for them to come. So probably about half an hour before they arrive. Dre offers you what little he has as a way. You can tell like his clothing. His quarters have certainly seen better times. I'm not sure there's a single thing in here that is probably, younger than 50 years. And everything has, like, the housekeeping is worn down. There's dust on everything. It has that smell of a place that has not been thoroughly cleaned in quite some time. But he tries. There is the marking of your dynasty everywhere, though.
Dre, I feel badly that I kept you waiting. I appreciate you waiting all this time for essentially my arrival.
It is my honor to serve. He, slowly kind of bends over for you. Then he busies himself getting drinks and whatnot for you for what he can offer. What would you guys like to do while you're here?
Regius,
I'll take that stone, right? And try and figure out. Now, I need to think about how long would I'd know, presumably, how I could optimize my chances of access it.
Yeah, it's really just a matter of if you got it. There's a reason that it was probably secured as well as it is because it's a trivial thing to access it. Like, you don't have to make any skill checks or anything. I mean, messages, unless they're specifically coded or whatever else, they're there's not much value in hiding, or making them difficult to access. So you basically, as long as you focus your attention and open your third eye towards this, then I think you will be able to access it.
Then I shall do that.
And when I hand it to you, I say, Regius, stay alert for any more Synesians nonsense. We seem to be up against a psyker of some sorts.
Okay. So let me find the appropriate music for you. Nope, not that. Yeah, that'll do. So as you close your eyes, and your two eyes, and open your third, you see the world vanish. You're far from Port Wander. And what you see is a vast, open blackness with flecks of stars. We're looking over a stellar landscape. A flickering star surrounded by a nebula with vast stretches of void, circled by a dust world and a frozen halo. This is the sort of unconventional imagery that is used to properly identify where to go. When you communicate in this way on a psychic means, it's the impression and there is like all art, I suppose, it is infused with passion and with the emotion of the author or the creator. And there's no difference here. It's a strange, abstracted world, a flickering star surrounded by a nebula and vast stretches of void, circled by a dust world and a frozen halo. What you also know is there is the lingering touch of another psyker in here. Recent enough to have been done within the last hour. And you would be aware that if that bird was a psychic familiar, psychers can use them to contact, to connect with things. If this bird, you're trying to remember, did the bird have it in its claws at any point? If so, then its master has read this message as well.
Okay.
You open up, and none of you have any experience in the Coronis Expanse. What do you say, Regius?
So I say, this is a vision of a location. I'm not familiar with it, but it's indicating a place. And furthermore, the psyker I warned you about has accessed this. They also know this message. So we need to find somebody familiar. I need to, I suspect, find another navigator who's familiar with the Coronis Expanse.
So these are just suggestions. If you have other ideas, you guys can feel free to pursue those. 3 suggestions they offer for getting further information about this in Port Wander. One is to petition the Imperial Navy or the Administratum for records. This is not easy, and it would require a rogue trader with a profit of at least 45, but I believe while you were poor in ships, you certainly are. I think your father gave you a pretty sweet bankroll to get you going, right?
I believe so. That sounds correct.
You can also seek out voidfarers familiar with the Expanse. Finding them is likely a matter of inquiry, using inquiry, and kind of spreading money around in the dank drinking holes of the guilt processionals. Godwin, I see a thumbs up there. Or perhaps you can find a master map maker. There are scriveners who can be found in here. Unsurprisingly, those who can provide accurate, or at least mostly accurate, maps of the Coronis Expanse are extremely busy for the rogue traders who are coming to Port Wander to then head off through the Maw and into the Expanse. So those are, again, only 3 suggestions. But what do you guys think? Your characters would know those. You wouldn't necessarily be running through a list of ways to do it. And again, if you have other suggestions as well, too, of how you want to approach it, you certainly could try that yourself.
What do you think, Regius? Prefer seeking one of your own kind, or would you prefer perhaps asking the Administratum?
We can start with the Administratum. I think I'd have no contacts here so far. If we have knowledge up.
I could make some inquiries on our behalf.
That's the name of the other rogue trader.
Might be less obvious. Not that the administration is, corrupt or anything. God bless the Empire, but you never want more information to get out than necessary.
Very well.
Well, if you can access that.
I can make some inquiries, throw around a few credits.
Okay. So, you have two ways of approaching this. Which would, I guess, first off, who is going to participate in which, or do you want to all do in one at a time, or do you wish to split up?
Who is good at inquiry? I'm okay with it. I'm actually not bad at it. I mean, I can assist, or something.
Well, you definitely don't want me to go talk to the Imperial people. I have a -10 penalty on all interactions for skill tests made in formal surroundings.
Actually, I think
good.
Godwin might as well, because he's also from a Death World.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of the, not you. You actually get +10 because you get your, when you're dealing with the nobility. Same thing with Quinelli, same thing with Regius.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the Arc Militant.
+10 interactions when dealing with high authority and informal situations. My etiquette.
It's your call, sir. Shall we divide and conquer, or?
Sure. I will go with Godwin, and perhaps you and Regius can maybe look into a navigator that you can ask questions of.
Sure.
Okay. So then, God. Oh, that's what I was looking at. For I can't remember how aiding a test works in this game. So I was going to look it up. Go playing the game. That does sound like something we'd like to do.
Playing the game.
Let's see here. Assistance. To give assistance on a skill test, the character must be trained in the skill. The assisting character must be adjacent to the character performing the skill. And
It's very specific.
but you reduce the difficulty by 1 step. That's cool. So, this is a challenging task, but with assistance. This is. Oh, sorry, no, it's not. You're going to call on the Administratum.
Oh, we were going to use our inquiries. Skill.
Oh, your inquiry, yeah, to ask around, sure. So you're not going to get the +10 bonus because this is you're slumming with.
I kind of figured we would be passing money around and using some underworld contacts.
So that is a challenging inquiry test, but you'll get a plus. Instead, it becomes ordinary, so +10 because of the assistance. So why don't you guys give us a... And remember, you can't spend fate points. You got 35 minutes left in the session.
And do we re-roll fate points for every session?
You get all your fate points back at the start of each session.
I rolled 2. I rolled 2 if I'm assisting, Kevin.
You're going to assist. Okay, so Godwin, you get +10 to your roll. Do you want to spend fate point beforehand, or do you want to save it for a re-roll?
I have 2, so I will...
You can only spend 1 per round, though. So
right.
you can't spend 1 to get the bonus and then also get a re-roll.
Am I feeling lucky? I'm feeling lucky. I'm going to add the 10
From
to
Cornelia?
my inquiry. Is that that column? Yeah.
So then it's
Here goes.
+20.
Sorry?
Well, you get an extra +10, right? Because Quinelli.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Well, he gets a
total-
+10. That's a total of +10.
Okay. So do I add +10, or do I just use my tick box on the...
What tick box are you talking about? When it prompts you for what modifier, you have 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I have there's a +10 in the skills column.
That will automatically calculate. No, and that's for when you're training. No, that is for experience. Like as you develop your character, that's how you get experience points. Yeah. 5 degrees of success.
Holy.
Wow.
Godwin, you find an old friend in here, someone you've known for years. So you can picture we see you guys go into a couple of places. You go into one watering hole, and you look over, and you can see someone, and there's this sort of like, mutual recognition moment of like, and you get a chance to talk to them quite a bit. Turns out this guy, what do you think where do you know this fella from? Or lady from? I don't know if man, woman, what do you think?
I think it is a woman,
It's a woman, okay?
and it's somebody who's been on a ship with us at one point. Maybe like assistant quartermaster type.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've
Okay.
got this excellent, trusting relationship.
Sure.
It's not just.
Her name is Serafina.
Indeed.
So she says, so what are you're on your way to the Expanse then?
And we're looking for psychers, right? Or somebody with navigators?
No, that's a separate thing. You're just looking for someone who can identify what Regius saw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're looking for someone to identify what Regius saw.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those, there's very few systems. Again, like it's an impressionistic vision that they leave behind, but putting those factors together, a flickering star surrounded by a nebula, circled with a dust world and a frozen halo, like a lot of those are very specific enough to limit it to, as long as someone's got some knowledge of the Coronis Expanse, they may be able to identify what system you're talking about.
So I will. I know she's into the pleasantries of, like the small talk of conversation.
Yep.
So I will suffer through that.
Okay.
Just for a few moments.
Yeah, so she's been out. It turns out she's been, working on a ship that's been back and forth through the Maw several times now. They're moderate successes. They're getting a real sense of, getting a chance to really see the Expanse.
Well, that is most excellent. My crew and I are looking to make a trip through the Maw potentially, and we're in need of some information. Looking for a specific location by description, I guess we would say.
She nods.
And
so you track something down then?
We've identified some information.
Serafina takes another drink and says, "It won't pass beyond this table. Where is it? What do you have?"
He slides some credits over because he knows this is not.
She waves her hand. She says, I owe you.
Yes. Still, formalities.
She said, if you haven't been through the Expanse, Godwin, then, and she pushes it over, believe me.
Well then, and then he'll go into description. My apologies. And he looks over to his liege to see if he wants like a formal introduction, or
we can assume that would have happened before. How do you think you would have introduced him?
Well, that's just it. Like, we probably would have talked along the way. Like, do you want like a formal introduction, like with who you are and your title and everything, or do you just want to be a crew member?
I think I just say Quinilly.
Quinilly? Okay.
Yeah, give her a nod. Quinilly.
Okay.
This is Quinilly. He's with me, kind of thing.
All right. She kind of looks you up and down, and let's make a rogue trader check for her. Nah, she doesn't think anything of it. Just thinks you have a friend of Godwin. Although, do you have? Does the skill conceal?
I'm not. I don't expect that I'm really in a concealing.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, I'm well dressed. I probably have some iconography on, so it's not
so
like
she knows precisely who you are. Yeah.
I don't need to get into the details.
So then, allow me to bring you back for a moment.
And then, he goes into the details of the vision.
So, within the Expanse itself, there are a number of different sort of sub-regions that have been identified by explorers and by rogue traders. One of those regions is a place called Winterscale's Realm. Winterscale's Realm is one of the most explored and exploited regions, and one that has delivered both fabulous riches and early death for the unwary in equal measure. Winterscale's Realm is a region defined by the... I'm trying to tell them, Anna. let's hear. It's is a region defined by the stars explored and charted by Sebastian Winterscale in the early centuries of the 41st millennium. Anna.
Can we get a place to make notes, Kev? Do you have a handout?
Oh, yeah. Let me give you a couple handouts here, guys. Absolutely.
Party notes or...
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Explorers notes. There you go. All players. Boom, there you go. How's that? You know, and so it stands out. Let me do this for you. Hold up. I'll put. Where is it? There we go. Boom. There you go. Okay. Winterscale's. It was charted by Sebastian Winterscale in the early centuries of the 41st millennium. It is composed of a few coveted worlds sitting like islands among the darkness of the unknown. Rogue traders have traversed the realm's breadth 100 times, but even so, its farther reaches and troubled warp regions remain unmapped. Though only a handful of worlds within Winterscale's realm have been even partially explored, these have proven to be fat with riches and treasures. It has lured those whose goal is only wealth and has become a battleground between rivals for its bounty. Gems, precious minerals, exotic Deathworld beasts, Xenos artifacts, and many more rarities have poured into select coffers of merchant cartels and noble backers in the Calixis sector and beyond, thanks in no small part to the Winterscale realm's tireless explorers. I give that to context. She sort of has explained to you what that was, what the realm was. But within that realm, there is an unusual system known as the Magoros system, deep within Winterscale's realm. It has yet, I don't believe it's even marked on this map. So it'll be somewhere you would have to pass through the Maw and then venture into Winterscale's realm to find Magoros.
Magoros? Okay. So it's not mapped.
It is one of hundreds of systems that was visited, cataloged, and passed over by explorers in the Expanse. The place no one's explored in any kind of detail. And she looks at you, and her eyes kind of twinkle. She says, "But I take it you have reason to go there."
We do. We also have a competing party.
Party?
If perhaps we might be able to throw some misinformation into the markets.
Who is the competing party?
Would we say House Fell, or would we say
Dynasty?
Dynasty Fell?
Oh, you can see. I mean, it's probably he's
Dynasty?
of that dynasty. Unless the entire dynasty is turned against them, then it's just the captain.
Okay. Rogue trader named Fell here on the station.
What's up? Haderach fell?
That was the name we heard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I know him. Yeah.
He is.
Know him?
I do know. He is the captain of the Fell Hand. He is the one who is a rival to you?
Yes. His men shot at us openly in the middle of whatever that place was called.
The
Death?
Dead
Death Court.
Court of Death.
Court of Death.
That does sound like Fell. But Has he departed yet?
Don't know. We don't know how much he knows.
I would, you may wish to check. You know, you
can
guys got
assume
the
he knows.
notification that, you know, when you arrive, suddenly you got a bunch of people who are greeting you. Same thing, like people, it's very easy to tell when a rogue trader is on Port Wander and when they've left.
Okay. Well,
He knows, he has that information as well.
he has the image that we described. He's seen.
Then you may be in a race through the Maw. I hope your ship is fast.
Maybe if someone's shooting at us.
You always did want motivation, Godwin.
Well, motivation we now have.
Then
Quinelli?
Yes, we should quickly check and see if he has departed and depart ourselves. If we are confident we can find the location.
Seraphina nods and says, it cannot be any other. For what you described,
Very well.
it's the system, the Magaro system is what you seek.
Man, did you see that roll? Of course it.
Very well. Let's
Seraphina?
collect the others.
Okay. So then, says next time, I will be buying drinks, Godwin.
Next time?
Toast for the Emperor.
For the Emperor.
Okay.
Well met, Seraphina.
And to you, Captain, profitable travels.
Can we calm these other guys and let them know what we...
Yeah, you guys
while we're on our way
have,
back?
all of you have microbeads, which are like little earpiece kind of communicators.
And the range is reasonable.
Range is reasonable unless you got interference. And so, but I mean, on here, I think you guys could communicate back and forth with minimal effort. What were Regius and Alessandro doing as Godwin and Quinelli were spreading those, that money around? Were you guarding the, Nemolith? Or were you doing something else?
Well, I don't.
No. Oh, go ahead.
No, I would say I would be following you. I wouldn't necessarily be leading anything at this point.
No.
If you want to go look for something, then I got your back, Regius.
No, at this point, I think we know our marching orders. There's a race now.
Well, I mean, you guys weren't with them, so what I'm trying to, what I'm asking is, what were you guys doing while they were, if anything?
We could have done something
I
else.
don't think we'd be doing anything else. I can imagine because we're trying to get that answer, and that's the...
Sure, and I mean, you know, if they tried to steal the Nemolith at one point, they may try again. So perhaps Dre could help, you know, Dre and Godwin's men, or the armsmen at least, and Alessandro could be the ones who are guarding the Nemolith. So that's where you guys are when they've been gone for about two, maybe 3 hours at this point of sort of spreading, you know, asking around before they ran into Seraphina. When, you know, they vox you on your microbeat. And what do you guys say?
We have the location. See you at the ship.
On our way, trader.
Make ready. Make ready. We are potentially behind.
Okay.
And we should check to see if Felhan is left. How do we check that?
Yes, you...
Check with the Port Authority?
You hear that Haderach, not only is Haderach fell on his way out and off to the Maw, he has clearly stated he is heading to Winterscale's realm.
We're behind.
We're
Yeah.
foul, man.
So, you guys, if there's anything else you wish to do in Port Wander,
Just whatever we were here for, like stocking up or
Okay.
whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Would just
And
Do
Godwin,
it
I
as
think
quickly as possible.
yeah, you can facilitate that as you're making your way back to the ship, so that's all sort of coordinated. And then you guys are back to the bridge. So as you guys are finally ready to navigate out and head towards the Maw, as you get back on the ship, Regius, your mind maybe turns back to... Tell me what's going through your mind right now, Regius, with this psychic or this this rival who seems to be out there.
Yeah, this seems ominous. I'm curious as to what kind of psyker he is. Is he merely an astropath of some kind, or is he a rogue psyker?
Yeah.
This seems to be unhealthy to have around. So, but it puts a feeling of an ominous feeling over this journey. We have a potent foe.
Captain Quinelli, were you trying to say something?
I will, since we're hastening to leave, if there's an opportunity, I will give Dre the chance to come with us if he wishes.
Oh, yeah.
Trey is like tears well up in his eyes when you offer that, and he says that he's extremely grateful for your offer, and there is since he first set foot on a ship, he knew he wanted to live his life and die under the stars, out among them. But more than that desire is his desire to properly serve the dynasty of the Aquare. It's effectively giving me fucking Manny Patinkin in The Princess Bride. What he says is my first and most important duty is that, and I am flattered by your offer and deeply grateful, but that would leave none to represent the proud Aquare dynasty here on Port Wander. And it is my honor to remind those here that the Aquare were among the first to set foot on any of the worlds in the Expanse.
To remind them how to pronounce it.
Are. They got a little whiteboard carries around. Did I not mention that? Oh, okay.
Very well, and keep your eyes open for any more of this Dynasty of Fel. I will, upon my return, I'll be curious.
If there is any news, Captain, I will have an astropath send a message.
Very good.
Then
off we go.
Profitable journeys, and thank you.
I will say to Quinelli, should we not perhaps improve the status of if this is to be our base into the Coronas, should we improve our status here rather than these shabby quarters?
That is absolutely an endeavor you could do. Yeah. If what you wish to do is invest some profit factor into like having a bigger footprint or more impressive footprint here, let me think. I honestly don't know how to work that out, but it's something I can figure out between this session and our next one. And if you do that, I'll figure out what sort of acquisition points you're going to get. Right now, I'm going to guess that you guys are not surprised. What the adventure assumes is that your endeavor is to find and plunder the righteous path. Do I have that right?
Oh, yeah.
Then that is an endeavor that requires a 1,500 achievement point goal. What I can do is, if you want to, as part of that, improve the contact with Port Wander, I'll figure out what that is, because you may be able to, by doing so, you may gain some extra achievement points.
When I have one of my advanced skills is commerce, so I could use that to try and help our base of operations.
That is a good point. There are always people who wants to have stuff transported from Port Wander out to there. I mean, you're in a bit of a rush, but if you wish to ask around, there might be opportunities here as well. Ways to supplement that stuff. Like, as an example, one of the opportunities you guys have not uncovered, and this is not one of the mandatory things, it's just like a side thing, there is an opportunity you could have that involves transporting something that results in 200 achievement points.
On this trip, on this upcoming trip, you say?
Yeah, so just as an example of it, one of the things, like, it gives me, what I could do is I could take a dive into the achievement point system and get an idea of what stuff would be worth. If you guys, what I'd like to do with all these, like, whatever adventures we're playing, is if you guys choose to push out and do some other, like, side gig kind of stuff to allow you to augment your the achievement points that you get, because remember, at the end of the endeavor, whatever achievement points you get after that gets converted in sort of a mathematical way, gets converted into profit factor. So the more things you achieve over the course of your endeavor, the more cash you get. And I have some good news for you. You may be feeling a little desperate right now. You may be feeling like you're behind that dastardly Haderach Fell and his vessel, whose name I've already forgotten.
The Fell Hand.
The Fell Hand, yeah. What a prick, putting his name into the own thing. But what you guys have achieved thus far by uncovering the Nimolith and going, 500 achievement points so far.
Oh,
yes. So then, guys, you know what that does? I mean, I know we got 11 minutes left, but rather than sort of pushing and whatever else, let's do a couple of things. First off, speaking of 500, you guys all get 500 XP for today's session. Woohoo! You can spend that between now and next session. So again, go to your, you are all rank 1. Once you have spent, let's see here, your total XP, I believe, is 4,000 right now. Let's see.
Is it?
Rank, where is it?
I think we were at 5,000 because of the
Was it? Yeah,
5,000,
as soon as I said it, I'm like, I think I've gotten it wrong each time. So
yeah.
You will reach rank 2 once you have spent 2,000 XP. So you have all spent 500 thus far. It is at the bottom of the Talents tab where you keep track of that. So if you want to increase your earned XP by another 500.
Okay.
Okay, and we can spend it on rank 1 stuff.
Correct, because you're only rank 1 right now.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Okay. But yes, go ahead and spend that stuff, guys, between now and next session. At the end of an endeavor, or you will be getting a bigger chunk of XP, but you can assume that every session you're going to get about 500.
So is that in the advancement section of?
Yeah, if you go to the bottom, you can add on, and basically what it does, the way you work with the character sheet is, I've already spent 500. Well, everyone has spent 500 points for each of their characters. They should have a total of 500 earned, 500 spent. When you spend 500 or more, as you're adding the new options from your career, just add those in, put the cost that you spent on it from rank 1, and then it'll equal out. It'll do the math automatically for you. Okay.
At least narratively, as we're finishing our conversation with Dre and departing, I will say to him, Dre, get yourself some larger quarters, and then we'll turn and go.
I'll figure that out over. I'll probably. What am I talking about? I'll probably do it tomorrow night. But if past conduct is a predictor, I will dive into this tomorrow night. I do have to prep for tomorrow's session tonight. That's the only reason I wouldn't be doing it tonight. But I think that brings, guys, our first official session of Rogue Trader to a close.
Cool.
So congratulations, guys. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So let's see.
I find that I need to I need to review my talents and traits before sessions. I see, because I overlooked a surprising number of them.
Oh, did you have something that was? Well, you know, we're all learning right now, right? Like it's
oh yeah.
And this is the first time playing these. As we get to play these characters more, and as you guys are spending the points, I think you will become much more familiar with this.
I'm just surprised how many. Like I had an air of authority that I did fine on commanding people out of my way, but air authority is right there. And then paranoia would have given me a couple more on my initiative roll that I just didn't have together. And then exceptional leader, I could have given someone plus 10% every round on a test. I had all sorts of shit going on.
It's, you know what? The first time you go to Port Wander, it's a little overwhelming. So it's really easy to overlook stuff.
It is.
But that was and I mean, and it's good to know. Like we talked about this before we went live too. But like it's gonna be a matter of sort of feeling out how the. I have an idea of what adventures I'd like to run to lead up to the to the Warpstone trilogy. To get you guys to sort of the level that the adventure recommends in a natural progression as opposed to just whatever. But I think that the game is definitely flexible enough to take advantage of those other opportunities to do the big scale things like spending some profit factor to upgrade your quarters. I just need to take a look, and that's actually where what is it? Heroes of the Storm? No, Into the Storm. That has a lot of extra stuff in it. So I will take a look at that. I shouldn't tonight. I might anyway. We'll see. But for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 1 of our Into the Maw adventure. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. Let's get something a little more agitated as we're going out here. What do we think? It's going to be Political Action Ad. That's literally what this one is called. The song is called Political Action Ad. Doesn't this sound like spooky, like should be black and white footage it's playing? It's perhaps someone going through what looks like a prison, There's a big thing saying that so-and-so let someone out of prison. Definitely. Political Action Ad. So you leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. You can also find a link down below in the description of the video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to this game, or rather 40K Warhammer games in general, I should say, as well as every other game we run on the channel. We'll be back in this one. I will be on vacation in 2 weeks' time, so we will not be back in 2 weeks' time. It will be 4 weeks before we're back on this. So if you come back in 2 weeks' time and you're wondering where this session is, it's because I am off, quote-unquote, relaxing on vacation. So, but we will be back in 4 weeks' time to kick off, to continue on with this, and to have our heroes actually go into the Maw. In addition, there is a link down below to the Dungeon Musings. There's a Dungeon Musings Discord server down there. You can chat with us on there. I'm sure I'll be bullshitting about this campaign and this game between now and then. I certainly will be bringing this game with me on vacation because I need to read more about Rogue Trader. There is also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print games in North America. RPGs, I should say, in North America. They have a terrific selection of new RPGs, board games, and card games, as well as an amazing selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If they do not have in stock what you're looking for, more often than not, you can put it on a want list, and they will send you an email when they have a copy that comes in. I have used, before they generously shared a discount code with us, I've been using Noble Knight to fill holes in a number of my collections, including some stuff for actually my Rogue Trader collection. And the prices with them are competitive with what you would find elsewhere online. Games that are in more demand, you will command a higher price for them. But I've mentioned many times before, I filled my Baron First Edition collection at about $10 a book because this wasn't a game that was in high demand. The fools. In addition to that, if you are going to purchase $10 or more through the Noble Knight website, be sure to enter the code Musings, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. In addition, there's a link down below to our to the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It's the Heroes Save Villages campaign, and it benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really terrific organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children. And all money that is donated through that link goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help the kids who benefit from their services. And their current services include ongoing relief efforts in Ukraine and the surrounding countries at the time of recording. As a small way of saying thank you for that, in December we'll be having our next charity raffle, and everyone who has donated $25 or more since, and it's $25 Canadian since June 15, 2022, you'll get one chance to win the grand prize. For every $25 that you donate, you'll get one chance to win the grand prize or one of the other great prizes in our next charity raffle. You can see the full list of prizes we gave away at the last raffle in June on the Dungeon Musing Discord server's Charity Initiatives channel. And in addition to that, we will be having our next charity session at the end of November, and it will be returning to a channel favorite. It'll be our annual session of Modifius Entertainment's outstanding Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of. And donors will help us decide what kind of Conan adventure that we're going to be playing. I mentioned last time that one of the options I'm going to give for it is going to be one inspired by the Roy Thomas and John Buscema series from Marvel. We'll have some other great options as well, but that definitely, I want to give the old tip of the hat to that terrific classic Conan comic. The last thing I will say is and we'll have voting for that start sometime at the end, probably the end of October, early November, and then every week there will be a new thing to vote on to help shape our game. We did that with our last charity session when we played Eden Studios' really cool All Flesh Must Be Eaten zombie survival game, and it turned out to be a really, really fun session. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the donors will decide for us to play with Conan. Last thing I'll say is a huge thank you to our stalwart explorers who have reached the threshold of the Maw and are ready to make their way into the Expanse. So, Jeffrey, Dave, Sean, and especially James, who is up to an ungodly hour to play with us. Thank you so much for playing tonight, or this morning in James's case, guys. This was so much fun. I can't tell you how excited I was to kick this proper, actual play, actually playing this game off, and this was a shit ton of fun. Can't wait for next time.
It's absolutely got me in the mood for breakfast.
Nice. Then for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. So again, we'll be back in 4 weeks' time for it because of my vacation. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our brave explorers are finding in Port Wander and on the cusp of entering the Maw. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.
See ya.